One of my favorite things to do in Minecraft is build cozy bases. There's nothing better than coming home from a big adventure to a nice place where you can relax and enjoy the beauty of Minecraft. That is why I'm going to spend 100 days transforming an island into a cozy cottagecore base. This lightly modded island will be equipped with a cozy starter home, a spot for our animals, an enchanting area, crop fields, a storage house, and so much more. So kick back, relax, and enjoy the adventure. Alright, here we are, day 1 on this island where we'll be spending the next 100 days building a cozy base. Now, if we're going to be living off this island for that long, I feel like we need to scope things out and see what's up. There's a cow? That's great. If there's another one on this island, that means we don't have to go through the trouble of carting one over from another area. A sheep! Another sheep! That's perfect! Oh, and a chicken! Look at the way you just floated down. That was so majestic of you. Alright, so we know we've got a few animals, which is great because that makes our life so much easier. It's gonna save us a ton of time. Speaking of time, we should probably get started on some of the Minecraft basics. And what better way to do that than to punch a tree and gather up some resources? A classic Minecraft tradition. So let's make ourselves a crafting table, and with that, let's make our very first pickaxe and axe. Now, as we all know, wooden tools aren't the greatest, so I'm gonna try to upgrade these as fast as I can. But hey, at least we've got something to start with. So another key component to early game survival is honestly a bed, which means we're gonna have to shear those sheep. And since we're on an island with very minimal resources, we have to be careful with these sheep. So I feel like a next good step would be finding a cave so I can get some iron for shears. That way we know these sheep are going to be safe and sound until I get a farm going and probably end up maybe using them for food. I'm sorry. Oh, look, a bee's nest. How nice. So far, this island honestly seems to have it all. I'm quite happy with this. Oh. What's this? Where does this lead? So it seems like it's all underwater. And then this leads to another entrance on the side of the hill. All right, I'm gonna grab some coal so I can make some torches so we can at least see a little bit better. And since this is a water cave, I'm gonna make some doors so we can breathe a little bit better underwater. It's like a snorkel, but made of a door. Oh, and also, can't forget the stone pickaxe. Might as well get the upgrade if we can afford it. All right, with all of that, let's head on down here and see if we can find some iron. Surely there's gotta be something around here, right? Come on, I just need 2 pieces, that's it. Not gonna lie, I'm having some bad luck right now. This cave was pretty much nothing but dead ends, so I'm gonna see if there's another entrance around somewhere else. I feel like the bed is one of the most important things for early game survival, so I'm definitely gonna keep searching. Whoa, we got some dolphins around here, and I am zooming. Found some. Yes, let's go. Please be more than 1 piece. Yes, we've got 5 pieces. This is perfect. All right, let's make our way back to the island and finally get this bed made. The sun is starting to set, so we've got a bit of a time limit now. So with these 2 pieces found, I just need to make a furnace and we are good to go. Let's pop that in there to cook. We'll make these shears and let's find these sheep, which I really need now because the sun is already set. And it's about to get a little bit dangerous out here. Plus my hunger's getting pretty low and my feet hurt. I think we need a good night's rest. Oh, there's one there. Perfect. And we've got another one right here. So that means we can make our very first bed, and let's finally catch some much needed rest. So we survived our very first night, which brings us into day 2. Oh no. No. Honestly, I'm just gonna jump to avoid this problem. I wasn't prepared to deal with that so early in the morning. You know what though, while we're down here, there's tons of fish that I could use for a source of food. I'm getting pretty hungry, and I think that's the first thing that we need to figure out today anyway. And hopefully once I gather all this stuff up, he'll be gone. I'm watching you. Oh, I'm sinking. So I spent the rest of the morning swimming around the ocean and gathering up as much food as I could. Do you think Mr. Creeper Guy is gone now? I sure hope so, because I'm definitely not equipped to deal with that. I think the coast is clear. So I'm gonna cook up some of this fish, and while I'm waiting for that to cook, I'm gonna start gathering a couple more materials around here. All right, I think it's about time I finally eat. Yep. Okay. Yep. Yeah. I think it's safe to say I really needed that. Once my hunger had been sorted, I continued to clear the area around my temporary base. Is that even a temporary base? Well, let's be real. That's a hidey hole. Seriously though, this area seems like a really good spot for a starter house. It's relatively flat, so it would be easy to build something around here, and that's all we can pretty much ask for. The only problem is there's all these knotted oak trees that are so difficult to deal with. Still not as bad as chopping down mangrove. While I'm in the process of tearing down these trees, I'm also gonna try to grab some seeds as well. If we want a better food supply, more wool, all of that stuff, we're gonna need something to feed all the animals with. Now I do have enough iron for a bucket, and I feel like we should probably make one. Everything's pretty steep around the water, so it would be pretty hard to grow crops. So let's go ahead and pop some water down over here. We'll till this soil, and right there is the very first beginnings of our farmland. It's almost like I have experience doing this or something. Oops, I'm standing on the crops. I probably shouldn't do that. I had a little bit more time left in the day, so I decided to start organizing my storage and clearing out some more of the forest. And here we are on to day 3. So we've got a little spot picked out for our future home. We also have a little wheat field started and ready to go. And I'm thinking today we head down into the caves and gather up some much needed materials there. Now, I have no idea what this cave situation is like. I have a feeling it's going to be a little bit messy considering I've run into a lot of water caves. But I was kind of thinking if I could dig my way down and start a strip mine, that would help us immensely. Especially because I plan on using deep slate for a lot of my builds. Now, speaking of builds, we haven't even really had time to discuss that yet. We've just been so busy with early game stuff. So my thought for this island is to make it super cozy and cottagecore. And what screams cottagecore? Honestly, a lot of things because there's so many styles. That's the best thing about it. But for me, I'm all about the bricks. I feel like the combination of bricks and moss gives like a cool old cottagey feel. Also, don't forget that we have some pretty cute furniture mods to accompany this palette. Now, bricks aren't always the easiest thing to make in this game. They require tons of clay. However, we can make this process a bit easier if we trade with villagers. Which brings me to my next point. We will definitely have to leave this island to go find some materials. Also, you thought I was gonna exist on this island for 100 days without spruce? I don't think so. Plus, I'm nosy. I want to see what else is going on around us. So with that rundown for this island laid out, let's get back to the basics of gathering our early game materials. Oh, I finally hit a cave. Oh! Is that really the first mob that I've killed? That seems pretty late. I've done a good job of avoiding them, but now, not so much maybe. Okay, there seems to be quite a bit of iron down here, so I'm thinking I stick around for a bit. Initially, I was gonna dig all the way down to start a strip mine, but I don't know if we really need to, considering I need a lot of iron to begin with. Oh look, some definitely not haunted clay pots just hanging out in a cave. Certainly not haunted or anything. And wait, what's that say? Break me for treats. Well, if you say so. Apparently this zombie wanted to know what was in them too. Too bad. Ooh, emeralds, nice. I'm totally gonna get haunted for doing this. Ah! So I spent the rest of the day exploring the cave and gathering up a bunch of iron. Diamonds! Whoa! Lots of them! What a nice little treat. All right, let's make ourselves an iron pick so we can gather these up. We got 10 diamonds out of that. That's awesome. What a lucky start. Well, after finding those, I feel like I probably shouldn't press my luck too much further, but at least we know this cave area exists. Ah, baby zombies! No, no, please. No, stop it. Stop, stop. Please, please. Oh, I need to get out of here. After I grab some of this iron. I never learned. Okay, I need to actually get out of here though. This is too dicey. Well, that caving adventure brings us into day 4, and I think it's a good day to set out on a little bit of an adventure. Drift, drift, go out there, drift. What's that? Spruce wood? You want me to go find you? Well, of course. Well, since we're on an island, if we're gonna go off on an adventure, we need a boat. So the plan for today is to set off and find some other materials that we could use for building. Ideally, I would like to find some spruce as well as a lush cave. Because if I'm going with the brick and mossy palette, we're gonna need tons of clay and moss. So I set off in a random direction in hopes of finding some of the materials I needed. Now this is also very cottagecore. I'm a little bit reluctant to take all these flowers because if I actually do happen across a lush cave, my inventory is gonna be filled immediately. So unfortunately, I'm gonna have to leave these for now. That's okay, at least we know this area exists. So off I went, continuing my search. Oh, what's this now? Well, howdy do, we got ourselves a village. What is this? A little restaurant? Mr. Chef, man, it's so nice to see you again. Do you remember me? Hey, what you got there? A little cauldron for me? Thank you. That's so nice. Oh, and a couple little bricks. Don't mind if I do. A little furnace. You know, I'm just starting out, so it's really nice that you're willingly donating all of these materials to me. Oh, what's that? A cabbage leaf? Thank you so much. You're so kind. So kind. So I spent some time searching through the village and taking all the useful things these generous villagers were willing to give me. There were actually a ton of kitchen components and crops from Farmer's Delight that would come in handy for us back at home. So I naturally took a bunch of it. Although my intention was to grab spruce and moss today, that plan may now be out the window. My inventory is full of really valuable stuff that I think we should drop off at home before we go anywhere else. And most importantly, check this out. I can pick up villagers, which means I can easily bring these guys back over to the island and they can sell me bricks. So collecting all of the stuff in the village brought me into day 5, and my inventory can't possibly hold anything else, so I think we gotta make a quick trip home. But if I'm going all the way home, I'm not leaving without one of these villagers. Come here. There we go. This never gets old. Look at the way I'm carrying him. He's so small. All right, buddy, I'm gonna try to bring you into the boat, and you, my friend, are gonna be one of my mason villagers. That is if I remember where my boat is. And, oh, I can just row the boat with the villager in my arms? Well, I hope you're comfortable, my guy, because we have a big trip home. Speaking of big, I can barely see past your head. So, with a full inventory and a tiny little villager in my arms, I set off back home. Why does this look like the scene from Titanic? This is ridiculous! Alright, buddy, welcome to your new home. And just kindly watch your step as we make our way up this little hill, because I do not have a dock yet. I mean, I don't even have a house to live in. And neither do you! You're going in this pit for now. Listen, when this island's all done, everybody's gonna come flocking to it, being like, oh my gosh, I want to stay on Drift's Island, it's so cool. And you can be like, well, I was here before Drift's Island was even considered cool. Alright, here's a torch so you can, like, do some crosswords or something. Alright, see you later, buddy! So, with the villager all safe and my inventory cleared out, I set back out in search of spruce and moss. Good morning, day 6. Or we're still out here searching for some spruce and a lush cave. Whoa! Cherry wood. Seeing that cherry wood was actually a good sign because it ended up leading me to a frozen peak which had spruce on it. Spruce! Yes! I'm gonna chop a bunch of these trees so we have more than enough saplings for our island. That way we won't have to constantly make trips back here. Gathering up these saplings ended up taking a little bit longer than I expected. For some reason, the trees just weren't really dropping many, but I was determined to collect a good amount so there was no chance of us having to come back. All right, I've got 14 saplings and I think that is more than enough. So I'm just gonna do a quick search around and see if I can find a cave anywhere. Ooh, lilacs. Don't mind if I do. No way. Did we hit taiga? Ooh, we did. Well, that would have been useful when I was gathering up all those saplings. But this also means that there's probably a lush cave around here somewhere. Oh, what's that I see? An azalea tree? We've got a lush cave. Before we do any more exploring, let's head to bed for the night. And we've got a fresh new morning here on day 7, where we have tons of stuff we are gonna have to collect here. Now, I'm not usually a 2-trip Tony, but there's a lot of stuff in the taiga that's very useful for us. I mean, we've got tons of coarse dirt, we have mossy cobble, and we can't forget we have all of the stuff that I want to collect at the lush cave. So we might end up having to come back here. But for now, I want to keep my focus on finding the lush cave because that has all the materials that we need to build. Oh, I see moss. We got it. Before I go any further though, let me just like toss these snowballs because why do I still have them? Same with this random egg. Oh, guess this is your home now. So I made my way into the lush cave and immediately started grabbing all the things I needed. I got this mossy moss, tons of clay, ooh, even some glowberries. All right, in order to preserve our inventory space, I gotta turn all of these clay balls back into clay. It's not ideal in terms of efficiency, but that'll give us more space so we can bring more home. All right, I think I've got a good amount of stuff. So I think we're probably good to get out of here. Once I was safely back up on the surface, I went to sleep. And that brings us into day 8. Now before we head out, I think I'm gonna chop down some of these dark oak trees. I feel like it would be really handy to have these saplings back at our island. You never know, we might want to build with it. Oh, hello little buddy. What you doing here? So I spent some time chopping down some dark oak trees to gather up some saplings. All right, I got 4 saplings and I think that should be enough. Dark oak saplings are always such a pain to grab because their drop rate seems to be a lot lower. So I think we're good with just enough to make 1 tree. So with all of this stuff collected, I think we're ready to head home. Finally, I've made it back to the island. Boy, that was a long journey, but we got some really good stuff out of it. Now, we've got a little bit of time left in the day. So I think I'm gonna make a couple more furnaces so we can start cooking up all of this clay. Now, unfortunately, that means we have to convert all of this clay back into clay balls. I wish there was a better way to do this, but honestly, this was the right move considering we were able to bring so much more home with us. So at least now until we get our trades with the mason set up, we'll have a decent supply of bricks for building. Cooking up all those bricks brought me into day 9. So I think if we work on gathering up a couple more essential materials, we should be able to build our starter home really soon. So we've got the bricks burning, and now all I really need are... Ah! Ah! Why is there a creeper? Oh no. Ah! No! The very first creeper hole on the island. It was bound to happen at some point. That bee's just flying away like drift. That was so embarrassing. I'm just gonna look away. And you know what? The bee's right. It was embarrassing. You know what? It's fine. I'm gonna turn that negative into a positive. This will now be my section to grow taiga trees so the podzol doesn't spread. I just want to avoid having podzol everywhere because it kind of makes things look a little bit messy sometimes. So this should fix that for us. Oh! Well, that didn't work. I did it wrong. Oh no. I think I may have had to do it a little bit higher or something. I don't know. Ugh, and now it's starting to rain. Are you for real? I guess today's just not my day. Well, since this tree is already grown, we might as well just chop it down now because we need this spruce anyway. And then we'll find a new spot for this taiga farm. All right, hear me out. What if we just move it to the ocean? It's a little bit of a pain because we don't really have a proper path to the ocean yet, but I think this will make our lives so much easier in terms of keeping everything clean and tidy on the island. So let's pop down the saplings in these little dirt pods. We'll light this up so mobs don't spawn, and we've got ourselves a little tree raft. Lovely. That whole tree fiasco pretty much ate up an entire day, so I gathered up some of the bricks I had in the furnaces to turn them into, well, more bricks. And then I went to bed. And here we are on to day 10. The rain has all cleared up, and I think it's the perfect day to start on our house. Now, originally I was gonna put the house in this area. However, this is now the entrance to our strip mine. So I'm kind of thinking this would make more sense as a mining outpost. Now, maybe this corner of the island might be a better fit for our starter home. That way we can make a little path over to the mining outpost and have some nice crop fields and stuff in between. All right, that's the plan for today. Now we just gotta execute it. Oh look, my tree island grew. Awesome. So I got to work on clearing out a spot for the build. There were tons of knotted trees, so they took a while to tear down. Then afterwards, I just had to work on a little bit of terraforming. And when all of that was done, we ended up with a really nice spot for our starter home. So with our spot all cleared out, let's get a little workstation set up. Now, since we're going to be building, that means we finally have a chance to use some modded blocks. This world is equipped with the chip mod, which has workbenches that allow you to make stylized versions of vanilla blocks. So, for example, if we make this carpenter's table, then we're able to toss things in like planks and have them be different designs. That means we have tons more options when building our home. Now that we have our workbenches all made, let's head to bed so we can get building. And here we are on to day 11, and it is building day. So how about we start things off by getting this footprint in place? And I'm gonna go with a mix of cobble, mossy cobble, and andesite for the first floor. Just want to keep things nice and simple. Alright, the foundation's all in place, but before we build up the second floor, I think I would like to add an entryway to bring in a little bit more shape. Now for the walls of that entryway, what are we gonna do? We have so many choices. I feel like the stacked planks are a vibe. How about we give those a shot? Ooh, and what if we add more of like a detailed block to the bottom of the build so it looks a little bit more grounded? Yeah, I like the look of that. Once the first floor was in place, I moved on to building up the second floor. So for the second floor, I'm gonna go with the same theme for the walls, except I'm gonna use birch instead of oak, which I ended up running out of, so I spent the rest of the day chopping down a couple more birch trees. Day 12 rolled around and I continued working on the starter home. Alright, with this structure in place, I think we can get started on the roof now. So I'm gonna start with the roof for the entry, where I'm gonna give a little bit of extra height to it. And now for the roof on the main structure, I'm gonna bring everything up by one more block just to give it a little bit more height. And I think I'm gonna go with the classic roof shape for this one. Alright, I think this is looking cute so far. We're getting somewhere. With the structure in place, all we really need to do now is fill in the roof. And luckily, I got lots of bricks for that. So I spent the rest of the day filling in the roof with a mix of brick and granite. Day 13 came around and I started decorating the exterior. Well, first things first, this build doesn't even have a door yet, so we gotta get that sorted. However, we can get some fancy looking spruce doors, so I think I'm gonna go with something a little bit more cottagecore. Ooh, this glass one looks pretty cool. Let's see how that looks. Ooh, yeah, that looks really cute. Now that the structure's in place, I think we just need to add some decorations to make the build feel a little bit less flat. Although this item may be a support beam, I really like using them in different ways, like using them as a planter for example. And of course we'll also use them as intended to add some nice detail to the build. Once that was done, I added in some storage piles to the front and side of the build. I want this house to look like an old cottage, so I think adding piles like this makes it feel a little more messy, as if it's been lived in for a while. Alright, nighttime is approaching and I'm not really close to finishing this house up, so I think I'm gonna work through the night. However, there's no way you're gonna catch me working outside in the middle of the night when there's all those mobs out there. I think I'm gonna hang out in here for a while and try to get a cozy interior in place. First things first, we gotta cover up this ratty old ceiling. Gotta make this feel a little bit nicer. Alright, this spot right here, I'm not gonna cover it up because I mean, look at it. It looks like a fireplace belongs there. I feel like it would be wrong not to put one here. Plus, it'll make this space look so much more cozy. There are so many Endermen out there fighting for their lives right now. Sorry, buddies. I know the rain is annoying, but I can't sleep, alright? I've got work to do. Working on the interior brought me into day 14. I am determined to finish this today, but also make it super cozy. Those are my two goals. Alright, here's my little bedroom area so far, and I can't tell if it's looking too much like a kitchen because I chose to use cabinets up here. I don't know, I think it's pretty cute. Plus, you don't know, maybe I'm storing stuff like linen and books in these cabinets. They don't necessarily have to be used in a kitchen, you know? You know what will make this extra cozy? Lanterns. Lanterns always make everything extra cozy. There we go. And of course we can't forget our staircase banister for safety. So that's pretty much the most we can do for our upstairs decorations at the moment until we get things like wool to make carpet, some paintings, and all that other stuff. This space is gonna have to be a little bit more practical because I need a place for all my workbenches and storage, but I'll still try to make it as cute as I can, of course. Day 15, and wow, what a way to be greeted in the morning with just zombies burning to a crisp. Lovely. I'm totally ready to show you all the grand reveal of this house. However, there are mobs everywhere and I'm a little terrified they're gonna get me, so let's deal with them. Alright, that's all sorted, so let's take a look at this house. Here is our little cottagecore starter home. It might be a little bit hard to see right now because the sun is casting some shadows from the trees, but you get the picture. So outside I wanted it to look a little bit more rustic and overgrown, so we've got our little storage piles on the outside, and I left the side here undecorated for now because I'm not sure if I want to build like a garden, maybe an extension on the house. I'm a little undecided at the moment, so we'll leave that for now. Now with all that, let's check out this interior. So downstairs is my little workshop, and it pretty much contains everything I need for building. It's simple, practical, and does the job for now. And then if we make our way upstairs, we've got the cozy little bedroom. And you know what? This turned out really cute. I think considering we had minimal resources to make this, it came together really nicely. The cabinets I put up actually did end up making it feel like a rustic cottage, so that worked out. Plus, I've got my cozy little chair to sit and ponder. Oh, and over in this area, I've got a little storage cabinet so I can toss some stuff in if I need to. But don't worry, I am gonna get a storage house set up sooner than later because storage, especially in modded, can be brutal. There are so many extra blocks that you have to deal with, so we'll definitely try and get that done as soon as possible. Alright, so with our starter house done, that pretty much leaves us with the rest of the day free. And I think the next task we need to work on is getting a bit of a better food supply. I keep getting hungry and all I've got is like 2 pieces of bread, and I just don't think I can keep going like this. So I think the first step is expanding some of our crop fields and then getting some animal pens. And if I want to expand this farmland a little bit, that means I've got to chop down some of these trees. While we're at it, let's shear some of these leaves so we can use them as future decorations. So I think we've got ourselves a good spot for a small little farming area. However, I think I'm going to take some extra time just to flatten this area out a little bit more. I think ideally I want the cow pens in this area, so I don't want them sitting too high up on a hill. Whoa, what is happening here? Please, go away. Ah! Honestly, he kind of terraformed the side of the mountain for me. It was looking a little bit flat, and that kind of looks better now. Maybe we should torch this up to get some mob control over here though. So the area has been flattened and all terraformed, and I think this is the perfect spot for a small patch of farmland. I don't know if I would end up putting like a full barn here or anything, but we can at least fit some starter animal pens in here for now. There is an arrow on my head. I think I should probably go sleep this off. Also, I just noticed that I have the mini-map enabled right now, which we probably don't really need considering we're on an island, so I'm gonna go ahead and turn that off. And that brings us into day 16, where I continued working on the farmland. I'm so hungry right now. Need food. I'm just gonna keep living off of bread for now because that's all I can do. I've got to wait to get more seeds for this wheat field, so in the meantime, I'm gonna start building out an animal pen. So to stick with the cottagecore theme, I think I want to go with a rustic looking pen made with a mix of cobble, spruce, and oak leaves. Just like the cottage, I want this thing to look as if it's been here a long time, so I'm also gonna add bits of stairs, slabs, and walls to make the pen look a little bit more weathered. Okay, I think I've got all my bases covered in terms of whether or not the cows can get out of here. Pretty sure if they hop up, oh, maybe here. Let's just put a little wall there. And I think this is probably good. Now, I did see some animals roaming around earlier, so let's go and find them. Hello? Oh, there's one. All right, buddy, let's go. Let's get you in here safe and sound, and we're gonna go find a second buddy for you. There's gotta be at least one more cow on this island. I thought I saw two. I have actually been searching for quite some time and I can't find one. Either there's one hiding around here or I'm likely to be wrong about this, which means we might have to go exploring off the island to get another one. This truly ain't looking good for me. Searching for that second cow brought me into day 17. And I honestly don't know if there's a second one on this island, if it's just lost or what, but I think I need to pivot and start getting the sheep sorted at least. Then once we have a little bit of extra time, I'll travel out to find a cow. But for now, let's at least get these pens set up. So I kept with the same rustic and weathered design, except I made this pen a little bit smaller because I don't tend to breed a lot of sheep. All right, second pen is all good to go. Now let's go find those sheep. There's one. Oh, I hear another one. Where you at, buddy? There you are. All right, I'm gonna assist you so you can climb up. I think I hear another footstep. Oh my gosh, there is another one. Perfect. All right, let's bring you three back over to our farmland. And we'll get you all sorted. Hello, sheep. Welcome to your little home. One at a time, please. There we go. Amazing. There you go. Thank you so much. There's the little baby sheep. It's so cute. I love it. Perfect. Okay, so we got the sheep sorted, which is great. So now we just need to find another cow. It is, however, getting to be a little bit late in the day, so I think I'm just gonna putter around and finish up some of this wheat field. Oh, before I forget, I should start making a path to and from the farmland. So let's just connect that over to our house. And we'll also make a connecting path that goes to the sheep pen. Perfect. I worked on the wheat field for the rest of the evening, and that brought me into day 18. All right, it is a fresh new morning on day 18, and I think I'm ready to go out and explore a bit so we can find our second cow. Now, before we do that, let's feed the sheep really quickly, and now we can head out. So I head out on another adventure in search of a cow. Is that another village? Oh, it's just staring at me. Okay, a little bit ominous, but that's all right. Oh, it's still staring at me. Okay, just gonna pretend I don't see that. Okay, he's looking away now. It's chill, it's chill. I do, however, see another village. So this is pretty good for me, actually, because I'm gonna need another villager at some point. However, my task at hand today is to just find one more cow. That's it. That's all I want. Oh, cow. Amazing. Okay, let's, oh, can I pick you up? How do I pick you up? There we go. Okay. Oh, we got the cow. We're good to go. Look at him. I mean, he's not pocket-sized, but he's certainly a little teeny tiny cow. All right, buddy, we're gonna get you home. Oh, so with our new friend tagging along, I traveled back to the island. Okay, this village is way closer to our island than the other one is. Took like 10 seconds to get back here. That is good to know. All right, buddy, let's get you into this pen with your new friend, and we'll get you two fed. Little baby cow, yes! Okay, perfect. So, along with a steady supply of food, we are gonna have access to leather as well, which is gonna be really useful if we wanna enchant or anything like that. And of course, same goes with the sheep. This is gonna allow us to make some really nice decorations. So now that the animals are all sorted, I think I'm gonna continue working on this field just to make the farmland look a little bit nicer. Ooh, actually, while we're at it, I think I'm gonna add a retaining wall. That's gonna help frame up the farmland nicely. Once the sun had set, I decided to spend the night gathering up some resources in the caves. Day 19 came around and I continued working on the farmland. So the only thing left to do on this retaining wall is just add little bits and pieces to it just to make it look a little bit more weathered. Exactly how we did with the animal pens. Once the retaining wall was all done, I continued filling in the wheat field. I keep forgetting the villagers in there, and I just keep hearing villager noises every so often. Sorry, guy, I'll move you soon. All right, the field is pretty much all planted, and I think it's looking really good. It's gonna look even better when everything grows in. What was that Enderman doing? But the very last thing I'm gonna do is cover up all of this water. I usually like to fill them in with things like rock piles, hay bales, maybe some storage that you'd find in the middle of the field. I find that these little piles add extra decoration, height, and just breathe a little bit more life into the farmland. And just like that, we are on to day 20, and I don't have a single piece of armor on me just yet. It's fine, we've just been spending it on more useful things like tools and decorations. Plus, once we get some diamonds and an iron farm set up, we'll be good to go. Speaking of diamonds, I think today's the day we do something with this strip mine over here. This area is looking to be pretty sad as of late, and I think it's time we build a proper mining outpost. The next goal that I have in mind is to get some better tools, so I think it's only right that we build a proper spot for that. Plus, then we also have a place to smelt things and store the resources from the mines. Now, speaking of resources, we're starting to run low on building materials, so I think before we begin building, we gather up everything we need so we're not scrambling later. And of course, as always, the main thing we always need for our builds is spruce. So I spent the morning chopping down all the giant taiga trees at our tree farming area. A healthy amount of spruce? Check. All right, with that all done, let's check on our granite and brick supply. And it looks like we're starting to run low on those as well. It's a good thing we've got this healthy supply of clay for all of the bricks that we need. Honestly, with all of the clay that I gathered, I might not even need to trade with the villager for a while. That's a good thing to keep in mind because we may need to utilize them for other things like an iron farm. We'll worry about all of that later though. All right, I think I've got a good amount of clay collected, so let's start getting it burning in these furnaces. Evening is approaching, but we still have quite a bit of time to kill. So I think I'm gonna head into the mines to gather up a bunch of things like granite and cobble, just some of the final few building materials that we need. Why are there so many creepers around here? They're everywhere! Uh-oh. I don't know what else to do. My island is so scary right now. It's supposed to be cozy. Do you think I can run home yet? What is happening? Oh no, that's not good. Okay, now's my chance to get home. Okay, I'm safe. I'm going to bed. Day 21, and I'm actually not sure I can even leave my house because I'm like pretty confident there's a bunch of creepers out there. Well, at least I know there's a zombie, so I'm just gonna hang out, you know, grab these bricks. I'm kind of busy right now, you know, just minding my own business, doing some early morning chores. Everything's fine. I can hear the creeper's footsteps and I'm scared. Oh, there's two. Okay. Ah, don't blow up, please. Ah! Oh. There's so many. Get away from my build. Can't wreck my cute little cottage, okay? I think that's pretty much it. I see that skeleton. I'm gonna choose to ignore. It's mostly the creepers I worry about. Yeah, something happened there, and it wasn't good for either of the parties, clearly. Okay, well, with all of that done, I think it's pretty much safe to get started on my mining outpost. Are you for real? Another creeper? That's like the 5th one. How many of you are there? Jeez. Okay. Well, now that whole mob debacle is over, I think we can finally get started on this build. And first things first, let's get some of these trees out of the way. All right, looking good now that this is all cleaned up. So this is my original entrance to the mine, and I'm kind of thinking we stick with this and just build around it. I think the best way to start is just to toss up some beams to rough out an entrance, and then we'll build from there. After the beams were in place, I tossed up a roof. I thought it could be cool to have a secondary structure sitting up on top of the hill above the entrance. That way it could act as a second entry point to the mining outpost, but also allow for some extra space to store things. It ended up getting pretty late while I was building, so to avoid the mob spawning again, I decided to head to bed early. Oh no, there's already a creeper! Okay, I'll go to bed, I swear! How are there so... is not good. Okay, I'm just going to bed. I was only up for like a couple minutes past nighttime. What is this? Day 22 on Cozy Not Cozy Island. That's what I'm calling it now. You know what? Enough is enough. I'm torching some of this area. I can't have this anymore. There's so many mobs here. Are they legitimately just more condensed because it's an island? Is that a thing? Does it make it harder because more mobs spawn on the island because there's less places for them to go? It kind of feels like that's the vibe here, you know? Oh, now we've got a rainy day. Wow, things are just not looking up today, but that's okay. We'll still make the best of it. After the whole mob debacle, I continued working on my mining outpost. Once the beams were in place for the second floor, I got to work on getting the roof in place. Alright, I think this framework is looking really good. And now I've got to choose what block I want for the walls. Ooh, I feel like these brick style planks could be cool. This building's a little bit more industrial, so I feel like it fits the vibe. And for the second floor, I think I'm gonna go with classic birch planks. I've really been digging the combination of using oak for the bottom floor, then using the birch for the second. It just provides a nice little bit of variance. Nighttime came around, but I still had tons of work left to do on the mining outpost. Instead of going to bed, I decided to work on the interior. That way I could stay away from the mobs while still being productive. Working on the interior brought me into day 23. Yep, okay. Good to know. Another creeper, yet again. I'm just gonna build this roof and keep to myself and hope that no mobs get me this morning. I've really got to properly torch up this island soon. But hey, at least my plan of laying low and building out the interior of this mining outpost worked pretty well. Alright, so this is what we've got for our basic shape so far, and I think it's looking really nice. The only thing I want to change is I want to see what it looks like with the walls removed from the first floor and have it more open concept. I think it would look cool to be able to see all the stuff from the mines in there. Plus, if we're worried about the safety aspect, we can just put a gate there or something and it should be fine. Also, this flooring looks so cool, especially now that the walls are gone and you can kind of see more of a clear edge right here. I think that looks awesome. So now that the structure's all in place, all I need to do is decorate it up a little bit and then we're pretty much good to go with our mining outpost. So I spent the rest of the day adding decorations to the build. Okay, we can change barrels into like gold and iron barrels in the chip bench, and I think these look so cool. How about we put them on the side of the outpost here with a bunch of rock piles and stuff? Once the sun had set, I decided to stay up a little bit later so I could add a couple more decorations to the build. And just like that, it is a beautiful morning on day 24. And yes, this random tuft of leaves are still here because I haven't fully chopped this tree down yet. There's definitely some knotted wood in there somewhere. I'll fix it at some point. All right, so the mining outpost is pretty much done actually. You know what? The only thing that it's missing is a chimney. So let's get that built first and then we'll do a little walkthrough. If you're smelting a bunch of stuff, you gotta have chimneys. And of course some leaves for aesthetic. Can't forget that either. Alright, let's do a quick little walkthrough of this mining outpost, shall we? So this of course is the entryway where we have access into our strip mine. Oh, forgot my little spruce support beam there. Let's just tuck that away. And I should probably light this a little bit, shouldn't I? There we go, got some lighting, we're good to go. So I pretty much just have all of my workbenches in here. I have the carpenter's table, and I also made a mason table so we can put things like cobblestone in here and get different blocks. I've got a little bit of storage here and there, a furnace for smelting, and this really big chain. What purpose does it have? Honestly, not really much of a purpose. I just thought it looked pretty cool. But if we head on upstairs over here, we pretty much just have a small space with some extra storage, a crafting table, and an alternate entryway, which leads nowhere currently. That'll be a project for another day. As long as we have one decent entry point, I think we're pretty much good. So with that all done, we finally have a proper mining outpost on this island. Now I'm not gonna go strip mining for diamonds yet, just because I feel like that's a good activity for us to safely do at night. So of course with that, the question is, what are we gonna do today? So I'm actually kind of thinking that today we go get ourselves another villager. We still have that one villager hanging out over here, and I was going to use him as a mason. However, I'm starting to think it might be a better idea to fetch another villager so we can make a breeder instead. That way we'll be able to accomplish more things. We'll be able to get multiple masons, maybe an iron farm, and then we won't have to worry about constantly going to and from the island. All right, back at this village to bother them for the 500th time. I hope they're not sick of me. I mean, if they weren't before this, they will be now because I'm gonna take all of their beds. Hi, I know you two are mid-conversation right now, but could I just take one of you back to my island and you could live there with me forever? Oh, thanks. Once I had the villager, I went back home to the island. And of course, as you may have guessed, nothing was safe on this island because why would it be? There's always creepers and zombies everywhere. So I had to make a run for it, and inevitably I had to hide this villager in a hole as well. After that, I decided to use the rest of the night to dig further down into the caves so I could hopefully set up my strip mine soon. Gathering up resources and digging down further into the caves brought me into day 25. Let's start things off with some light chores around the base. Let's feed these cows so I no longer have to live off of bread. Listen, I love bread, but you can only eat so much of it, okay? And of course, let's go on over here and feed our sheep. Alright, so now that we have 2 villagers on the island with us, I think we can begin building up their house today. I'm not gonna do anything fancy, I'm literally just gonna build a house with some beds and then give them the food that they need. That should probably be fine for the amount of villagers we're gonna need on this island. Now the question is, where do we put this thing? So since I'm just building out a little house, I think it would fit in with the vibe of this area. What about in this little area of trees over here? There's a lot of knotted trees to clear out, but beyond that, I think it's a pretty good spot. So with the spot picked out, I began cleaning up the area by removing the trees and terraforming the land. Clearing out a spot for the build pretty much took all day, so when night fell, I decided to run into the caves like a little baby to get to work on my strip mine. Once I reached a good level for diamonds, I began clearing out a spot. This could honestly go 2 ways. I either get incredibly lucky and get so many diamonds while I strip mine, or there's nothing. I'm really hoping it's the latter because yeah, I could really do with some diamonds right now. Sadly, I didn't end up having much luck this time around. But hey, I have faith. We only just started this thing like today, so there's always time. It's a rainy day 26, but that's not gonna stop us from working on our villager house. So I just need to terraform a little bit more of this to flatten it out, and then we should probably be good to go with this build. I think it's also time I clean up this mess with all the pods all in oak. Not only is this atrocious, but it's also a reminder of my failed tree farm, and we just don't need that. Alright, I think this is the perfect amount of space for a new build. So next we just need to figure out if we have all the materials we need to work with. I still have a fairly decent amount of spruce, which is good. I have diamonds? Oh yeah, I forgot about these. Honestly, should I make a pickaxe? This could help out a lot in the mines. I think I'm gonna do it. Yes, we got our very first diamond pick. Let's go. We're gonna stash that away for now along with the diamonds because we probably shouldn't be using that too much. It doesn't have any enchantments on it, so we need to be careful. All right, I got a little sidetracked, but let's get back to the materials for the build. The only thing I'm really missing now is birch wood, so I think I'm gonna spend some time collecting that. Once night fell, I grabbed my new diamond pick and ventured down into the mines in search of more diamonds. Diamonds! Yes! I ended up finding a cluster of 6. That was all I found for the night, but I would say that was a really good start. Day 27 came around and I started things off by farming some wheat and feeding the cows. Once that was done, I got to work on putting up the build. So let's start things off with a little foundation. Then of course we'll place our beams. And then finally, I'm just gonna use birch for the walls. Honestly, I've really been vibing with using primarily vanilla blocks and then having the modded decorations as little accent pieces. Alright, the basic shape is all put up, and I think that's looking good. This is probably more than enough room for all of the beds we're gonna need. I still had a little bit of time left in the day, so I got started on the roof, and in the evening, I went back down into the mines. I ended up finding another cluster of 6 diamonds. Day 28 came around, and after feeding the animals, I continued working on my build. Alright, the shape of the roof is all in place. I went with a classic roof shape, but I used full blocks for it, which means I think I'm gonna have to make some more bricks. I seem to have hit this tree. Is it finally time for me to chop the rest of this down so it despawns? I feel like I should, because it's kind of an eyesore at this point. There she goes. Goodbye, floating leaves. I'll miss you, except I won't, because it just was not nice to look at. Whoa! Look at the view from up here. You know, I know we only have like 2.5 builds, but this is really starting to come together. I can see the vision. All right, let's get down from here though, because I'm a little scared. While I was waiting for the clay to burn, I went back down into the mines to grab some granite for the roof as well. All of that resource collecting brought me into day 29. And now that our morning chores are done, I think we can continue tackling this build. So I'm gonna start things off by building out a front porch. Once I had all my bricks made, I started on the roof. So all we need now is a spruce trim on top. And let's just add some extra finishing details like a dormer. This will just help break up the roof a little bit more. I spent the remainder of the day adding extra details to the build, and in the evening I went back down in the mines to gather up some more building materials. Day 30 came around and I was still working away on the build. I'm gonna add a chimney to the side of this house, however, I don't think I'm gonna light it. We already have 2 working chimneys on this island, and I think that's enough for now. Otherwise, you're just gonna start seeing smoke all over the place, and it'll end up looking a little bit goofy. Once the chimney was in place, I worked on some extra details around the exterior. Alright, I think we gotta get a fancy modded door on this house. I need one that looks like a cute cottage door though. Ooh, let's give this beech oak door a shot. Oh yeah, that's the vibe. The house still needs a couple decorations here and there and some modded blocks, but honestly, this is looking adorable. I think what I'd like to focus on for the rest of the day is building out the interior. The sooner we can get these villagers in, the sooner we'll be able to utilize them around the base. So I got to work on building out the interior of the house. And while I was working away, I had some visitors pop by. Oh, hello? That was really loud in my ear, that's why! Ow! So rude, honestly, how did you even get here? Now I've gotta drink a bucket of milk even though I don't like to. Ugh, that was just awful. After that whole debacle, I decided to stay up a little bit longer into the night to finish off the interior of the house. It's a beautiful morning on day 31 where yet again I am fighting a creeper. These things are relentless on this island. Alright, that's been dealt with, and I think the time is now upon us. We can finally move our stinky villagers into their new home. Alright, buddy. How you doing? It's been a minute since I've seen you, huh? Are you mad at me? I left you down here a bit long, didn't I? I'm sorry. Look at this! I've got you a nice little cottage. Oh, no, stop it. See? Isn't it nice? Look. All right, you hang tight, because I gotta go find the other villager. Are you for real? Another creeper? They're always around here. What is this? Uh-oh. You didn't see or hear a thing, okay? All right, let's get you out of here. All right, let's drop you in here. And you know what? I just realized I need to give you some food. I mean, I have some bread that's been in my pocket for like 3 days. Do you want that? I think it would be wise to get a little bit more than that though. Well, I guess it's a good thing that we planted this giant wheat field. I'm gonna be having to feed the villagers quite a bit. Hello, yes, it's me again. I hope you all like sourdough because I have a lot of it. Something tells me I'm gonna be needing a whole lot more than that. You know what though? I have a fantastic idea. When I was at that village over there, I actually saw quite a bit of hay bales. And also, there's still villagers over there. So I'm thinking maybe I make a quick trip back there, take all those hay bales, make some bread, and maybe just stop and grab another villager. That'd be okay, right? So with the plan in place, I went back to that village and grabbed as many hay bales as I could find. Oh, I might as well grab this while I'm here. And oh, an iron helmet. I'm moving on up in the world. I can't believe that's the first piece of armor I've put on. We're already into 31 days. After I grabbed a couple more goodies, I scooped up a villager and went home. All right, here we are on day 32 with a bunch of freshly baked bread. Here you go, villagers, enjoy. And hopefully we'll see a baby villager soon. In the meantime, I think I'm gonna start making a path to the new build. So let's make a connection over from the farmland and one towards our house as well. There we go, that's looking good. I heard a baby villager. It worked! Yay, we have villagers! Awesome. With the villagers safely in their new home, I decided to grab the extra villager I'd picked up the other day and use him as a mason in our mining outpost. Except that didn't work. I didn't realize that I had actually picked up a villager who won't take any jobs. And you know what? I respect that. I think what I'm gonna do is leave this guy in here for now and then maybe utilize him in the iron farm when we make it. With some time still left in the day, I decided to chop down some spruce trees to replenish our building supply. And just like that, we are on to day 33. Now, we have two options for what we can do today while we wait for all of these villagers to grow up. I was thinking we either start an enchanting setup or our iron farm. Now, I think I'm a little bit more inclined to start the iron farm, simply because the sooner we get that set up, the more iron we're gonna accumulate. We're still actually doing pretty okay in terms of our tools. Oh, there we go, another creeper. And I think if we get an iron farm set up, there'll just be one less thing for us to worry about. Plus, then we'll have tons of iron to build up all the cozy things that we want to build. Like pretty lanterns and street posts. Seriously, I need all of the lanterns. So with that idea in mind, I got to work clearing out trees and flattening some space out on the other side of the island. Alright, I think this should be enough space for our iron farm. I mean, I hope. The last time I built one in 100 days, it was a hot mess, but that's okay. I'm hoping it's good this time. And for this farm, I'll be following along with the tutorial, so I'll make sure I leave a link for it in the description. Day 34 came around and I was still working on the iron farm. So I'm supposed to path out a bunch of these blocks here. However, some of them are a little bit higher. Sometimes that means the iron golems actually won't spawn on them, so I'm just gonna cheat it and see if I can get away with not having to path all these blocks. Because that would definitely save me a lot of time. Let's be real, taking the easy way out probably isn't gonna work. But boy oh boy are we gonna try. Alright, the iron farm is pretty much done. Except of course I'm missing the villagers, the zombie, and most importantly some lava. Which means we're gonna have to go find some. So I set off on a little adventure in hopes to find some lava. Okay, well, I see a ruined portal. That is good for me, because I actually do need the obsidian for the enchanting table. Let's hope that it has some lava pits as well. Nothing! Just magma cubes. That's alright. I'm gonna grab this obsidian anyway, because we're gonna need it for our enchanting setup. Ooh, and what do we got in this chest? Oh, silk touch. That's actually kind of useful. Ending? Okay, fortune. Let's go, let's go. Once I had grabbed all the goodies from the portal, I continued my search for lava, and I had some pretty bad luck finding it. Eventually, night fell, and I was able to see a glow from a forest, which ended up being a lava pool. I scooped up a couple buckets, and then I made my way back home. Day 35 came around and I was putting up the finishing touches of the iron farm. Everything's pretty much in place now, so I think I can safely move the villagers over. Good luck to me though, because despite having this mod, it's probably still gonna be quite the task. All right, let's drop them here. There's one. Now I just need two more and we're good to go. Oh, look at that. We've got tons of villagers in here. Bring you up here, buddy. Oops, sorry. Villager number 2, if I can get out of here. Oh, sorry. I am exceptionally bad at this. Villager number 2, safe and sound. And last but not least, we've got our third villager. Boop. Now, just for some added safety, I think I'm gonna close this thing off. Always better to be safe than sorry. So, pretty much all we need to do now is wait for a zombie to spawn at night, which should be easy because this area is just full of mobs. And then the iron farm should start working. So I spent the rest of the day puttering around the base until nightfall. Hello? Zombies? There's a zombie right there. Okay, but there's a creeper. There's 2. Go! Okay, the zombie. This is perfect. There's 2. Oh, this is dicey. There's an iron golem spawning. Okay, it kind of works. We just need our zombie in here. Come on, get in there. Yes! Ah, no! Oh, that's actually not too bad. Okay, I should probably go to bed though, because this is just too much, and if we get another creeper blowing everything else up, we're done for, and we just don't want that. I think I may have done it. Day 36, let's go. Oh no, it's thundering. This is gonna make everything exceptionally more difficult. To be honest, in this moment, I was in a little bit of a panic and instinctually went to sleep through the thunderstorm. So I pretty much wasted a day. Yeah. Well, looks like we're on to day 37. Really not ideal at all, and also, I think something bad may have happened. Yep. First of all, we've got creepers galore. You know what, buddy? I blame you for this one. I could have had all of this set up perfectly, but no, a creeper had to go and blow it up. And what ended up happening was an iron golem spawned probably in this hole, took out the zombie, and now I'm back at square one here. After I took some time to repair the damage done to the iron farm, I had the rest of the day free until we had to get another zombie at night. And I think it's finally time to start decorating this path a little bit. I'm gonna start by getting some coarse dirt in around the edges just to frame it up a bit. Next, let's pop down some nice spruce fencing. And finally, we'll add some tufts of leaves in between the fencing. And I think this is already looking so much better. Nighttime is upon us though, and we need to get this iron farm sorted. Sorry, I'm just stress eating some bread. After spending some time searching, I managed to find a zombie. Now I just need to get him to follow me over here, right this way. Ow, this really hurts. Okay, gonna try to weave my way over here. Oh, it worked. Yes. Okay, it's done. And I think it's working. Amazing. This is great. Okay, I should probably go to bed though. Day 38, and guess who has an iron farm that's working? That's right. Me. Oh, this is so glorious. We finally have a decent supply of iron coming in, which means I can also get some armor. Now I'm just gonna leave and let this thing be. I think I pathed out enough space for it to function properly. However, it still might function a little bit iffy just because we have our villagers close by. And those villagers will inevitably spawn golems. But hey, I'll take what I can get. But now it's the moment of truth. It's finally time to make our iron armor. 30 days in, and I finally have iron armor. Oh, it took a while, but honestly, I didn't really need it. We've actually kind of held our own on this island, so it's all good. Now, with the iron farm all complete, that means I pretty much have a free day. And I think since I went through all of that trouble of the iron farm, I am going to treat myself to some new diamond tools. So I'm gonna get myself a nice axe and a shovel. And honestly, I'm quite content with that for now. But now that we have all of these tools, that means we need to figure out some enchanting. Because ideally, I'd like for these tools to last longer or help us gather materials quicker. Now, we managed to grab some obsidian from that ruined portal the other day. And for an enchanting table, that means we need a book and 2 diamonds. Perfect. Well, I've got a lot of leather, but the one thing I don't actually have is any paper. While I was boating around the other day, I did see some sugarcane around here. Ah, here it is. Perfect. We're gonna need quite a bit of it, so I'm gonna start setting up a little farm over here. This area of the island can be the designated, like, farming zone. Not the cute aesthetic farming by any means. It's more so the area where all the not-so-pretty necessary farms hang out for now. So if we're gonna get some enchantments going, I'd really like to make a cute little enchanting tower or something. I'm kind of thinking that maybe what we can do is start extending a path this way. That way we could find a spot for an enchanting tower, and we can eventually connect everything over to the iron farm in that end of the island. So I spent the rest of the day pathing and clearing out space for some new builds. It's a beautiful morning on day 39, and we have lots of work to do today. It's endless with these creepers. Endless, I'm telling you. Well, we're just gonna ignore that for now, and let's go into free cam really quickly just to see what terrain we're working with. So I think eventually I'd like to level out this area so it's one big flat space over here. However, I think it would look really nice if we kept this hill over here. I'm kind of thinking this might be the spot for our enchanting area as well. But before I get started on that, I need to deal with this stray iron golem. Listen, my farm design might be a bit flawed because I probably didn't path out every block I needed to, but it's still doing a decent job, so it's fine. I kind of felt bad doing that. So if we're going to be utilizing this area, we've got a lot of work to do. First things first, let's chop down some of these trees. I think this is a pretty good amount of space to work with. The terrain is still a little uneven, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, but I think I'd like to flatten it out a little bit more. So I spent the remainder of the day terraforming the hill. And just like that, somehow we are already onto day 40. Time really do be flying by. But honestly, going into free cam, I think we have made some really nice progress so far. This island's looking super cute. So with a full day ahead of us, I continued terraforming the area for our enchanting tower. Alrighty, the spot has been all leveled out, and I think this looks so much better. Plus, I think now we have more than enough room to build this tower. So now that we've got our spot picked out, the final step is of course collecting some resources. Oh my, this tree is overgrown on this island. What is going on here? So let's start off a classic resource collection day by gathering up some spruce. Once I was done with that, I spent the rest of the night in the caves gathering up some building blocks. Ah, it's a fresh new morning on day 41, and I think today might be the perfect day for a bit of an adventure. No, it's not me going stir crazy or anything on this island. Listen, I have spent so much time dealing with villagers, iron golems, creepers. I think I just need a little bit of a vacation, that's all. Besides, we need to collect some resources that are kind of hard to come by on this island. We could do with some more moss. I would love it if we found a dripstone cave so I can make a lava farm. And I've been having a really hard time finding coal around here, which is much needed to craft things like lanterns. And you know we gotta have our lanterns on this base. So with a list of things in mind, I set out on another adventure. And the first stop was a stony shore I had found a while back because I knew there would be tons of coal hanging around. Next stop after that was the giant taiga forest for some more moss and clay. Ooh, sunflowers. These could actually look really good in our wheat fields. I'm gonna grab a bunch to bring home. One side quest later, and I was finally at the taiga biome. Now we've got lots of goodies we could grab from here. We've got the mossy cobble, the coarse dirt. We're gonna check a lot of the things we need off of this list. Day 42, I had somehow made my way into an incredibly large lush cave. Honestly, it's pretty chaotic in here, and I think I've got what I need, so I'd like to just get out of here. Alright, my inventory is pretty full, and I think I've got a good stock of everything I need. So I think I'm ready to head home. I had ended up venturing out further than I had realized, so traveling home pretty much took up the whole day. Alright, it's day 43, I've got all of the resources that I need, so I think we can finally begin building our tower. And first things first, let's start off with a foundation. Once the footprint was in place, I began building up the walls of the tower. So I think I'm probably gonna have the enchanting table on the bottom floor of the tower since it will have the most space. To make things a little bit less cramped, I'm gonna attach a small build to the side of it for an entryway. Alright, for this tower, I'm thinking of using some of the modded birch blocks. How are there just creepers everywhere? This is the most amount of creepers I have ever seen. Ever. I'm not even kidding. Oh, you know what? It's probably this. Let's see. Oh, well, that probably explains all of these random mobs appearing during the day. Well, hopefully that solves it. All right, so for these walls, let's try the vertical planks mixed with these polished blocks. Yeah, I think that looks really cute. Love that. So next we just need to build up the tower. All right, how's this looking for height? I think that's pretty good. It started getting pretty late amidst all of my building, so I went to bed for the night so I could get an early start in the morning. Day 44. Now let's continue building up this tower. And I think for the tower walls, I'm gonna try a mix of the stacked birch planks and the polished birch. So I worked away filling in the walls. Yep, that's a tower. In all seriousness though, I think those modded blocks look really nice. So with that all done, I think the next step is to start on the roof. That way we can see the full structure and then we can fill in everything else after. Working on the roof lines for the bottom floor pretty much took the rest of the day. Wow, day 45. How did we get here? I don't want to burn up too much of the coal I gathered because I'm going to need it for other things. So I think I'm just going to use like logs and stuff to burn up all of this clay. Are oak logs more efficient than planks? I honestly don't really know how it works. I don't know if they burn longer or what, but I hope I'm not wasting too many by doing this. Maybe I'll get more out of it if I use planks instead. I don't know. So with all the clay burned into bricks, I was ready to start filling in all of the rooftops. The bottom floor is all done, and I think that's looking great. Now I just have to pillar all the way up there and get that one done. Before I do anything else, let me just close this off, because if I fall, yeah, that wouldn't be good. Alrighty, let's get this tower put up. I think I want to do a bit of a steeper roof line on this one instead of the classic shape. And if it looks anything like how I'm picturing in my head, I think it's very much going to have that cottagecore vibe. Yeah, I think that's a good design for the tower roof. Now all we really have to do is fill it all in and then we're good to go. This might be a little bit of a risk, but I think I'm just gonna work through the night on this tower. I'm up high anyway, so the mobs really can't get to me. I need different blocks for my tower, but I'm too scared to go down. Maybe this was a bad idea. I've got to do it. I've got to be brave. Okay. Uh-oh. Okay, I made it home. Day 46, and I'm a little bit afraid to go over there if I'm honest. I saw how many creepers were there last night, and I know they're just waiting for me to come back. Well, in the meantime, I think I'm gonna check up on this iron farm to see how much we've collected. Wowza! That's That's a lot. I'm gonna be able to make so many lanterns, it's not even funny. While we're here, let's expand this sugarcane farm out a little bit more because we're gonna need tons of paper for books very soon. Books are essential, not only for enchantments, but for learning too. All right, so this is what our tower is looking like so far, and I think it actually looks really nice, aside from the giant waterfall that I've got going on there. But the tower roof still needs a little bit more detail. So let's get this done, and then we can finish decorating the entire build. There we go, that's looking much better. The very last thing I need to do with the structure is patch in a couple of these walls. Before I do anything else, I just need a little bit more birch wood. Stop. What was that? I heard a cat. Hello? Oh, there it is! Stop it. It's a little ginger cat. I think you know what we gotta do. Hello, buddy? There he is. Do you want some fish? Come on. Yes! We made a friend. Look at him. He's so cute. Whoop. I picked him up. I forgot I could pick up cats. Wait a second. This actually might be good for me. I mean, we've notoriously been having a really bad creeper problem. Maybe if I keep this guy close to me, he'll scare them off. All right, buddy, I'm gonna name you Jeremy. Now, Jeremy, you're gonna have to hang around me a lot because I need to be protected from all of these creepers. Oh, okay, he's wandering off. That's okay. He's got stuff to do. He's a busy guy. I respect it. So with my new friend Jeremy by my side, I continued working on my enchanting tower. Day 47 started with a little bit of creeper cleanup. It's a good thing that I've got Jeremy though, because he's been keeping me safe. Alrighty, this structure is all done and ready to go. So now all we really have to do is detail it. So I think for this build, since it's an enchanting room, I'd like to make some nice windows for it. And if we want to make some nice windows, then the glassblower's bench is the way to go. So with this bench, we'll be able to make some nice decorative glass panes. Let's go with the diamond design and maybe the arched one as well. I feel like the arched glass would be perfect in these windows. Ooh, yeah, that's nice. Now maybe for these ones, we could do diamond. And I'm thinking we get some windows on the tower as well. Jeremy, what are you doing up here? Working on the tower windows kept me busy through the evening. And that brought me into day 48 where I continued decorating the exterior. So right now I'm kind of just focusing on adding some details to the windows. I think I just want to keep it simple by making some planter boxes and using those support beams underneath the windows as well. Then we could add a couple tufts of leaves to make it feel a little bit more overgrown. We'll get a little awning for our entryway. And finally, let's get some decorations on the top of the tower as well. And guess what? I can finally make all the lanterns I could ever possibly need. It started to get pretty late into the evening, so instead of going to bed, I decided to start decorating the interior of the enchanting room. Ooh, this looks fancy. I like this. Too bad it's gonna be covered up by bookshelves. Day 49 came around and I continued puttering away on the build. Jeremy, get down from here, it's not safe. It's a little daredevil, that one. All right, I think my final finishing touches on this build are putting up some leaves on the roof tower, and then we're pretty much done. And there we go, our enchanting tower is all done. I think this turned out really nice. Now, there's still quite a bit of detailing to be done in terms of all of the stuff around the tower, but we'll definitely have to get back to that on another day. For now, I think I'm just gonna connect a path to our house. There we go, everything's all connected and we're good to go. Okay, hear me out though. I feel like the area around this tower would look so good as a wheat field, especially if we put like sunflowers or lilacs in it. That could look real nice. So the interior is pretty much set up as well. Now we just need to fill it with all of the bookshelves and the table, which means we're really gonna have to get to work on farming this sugarcane. You know what? While we're waiting for this to grow, we have quite a bit of spare time, so maybe I should start on the wheat field over here. That actually wouldn't be a bad idea at all. With that idea in mind, I got to work on turning all of this grass into farmland. And just like that, we are on to day 50. Can you believe it? Time's really flying by. But honestly, we have made some really significant progress around our base. We've got 4 whole builds set up, some cute farmland, and some more soon-to-be cute farmland over here. But we still have tons of work to do. So I think to keep in theme with the whole farmland thing, I'm gonna continue working on that today. We're still waiting on a couple things to fully make our enchanting setup, so I figured it'd be nice to take some time to decorate this base a bit more. So I continued working working on the wheat field while also making sure I harvested sugarcane and fed the cows. Since I have wheat fields on my mind, I have an idea. I feel like I should extend this one all the way over here as well. Right now the cutoff point is right here and it kind of looks a little bit awkward. I feel like if this whole platform was wheat with a retaining wall around it, it would look a lot better. I finished the wheat field by the enchanting tower, so we have lots of time left in the day. So I think it would be nice to spend the time decorating our base a bit more. With that idea in mind, I got to work extending the wheat field around the animal pens. Nighttime came around, but I decided to stay up a little bit later to frame out the retaining wall. And that brought me into day 51, where I spent the morning adding some shape and detail to the retaining wall. Aside from this chest, which I still have to move, but in order to do that, I should probably build a storage room. This wheat field's now all done. Once all of this grows in, it is gonna look so good. I am very happy I completed that. Now, of course, before we do anything else, we've got to feed these cows because I still need a lot of leather for those books. And we need to harvest our sugarcane. Just so I have a tabs of everything, I'm gonna start making all these bookshelves, because I have no idea how close we even are to this goal of enchanting. All right, we've got 6 bookshelves so far, and that's not a bad start. However, since this is taking quite some time, I think it might be worthwhile starting on some other projects. Now, as you may have noticed, my storage is pretty much out of control. It's gotten to that point where it's really hard to keep track of what I actually have. And with that, I'm probably gathering more resources than I actually need. So I say we work on building a storage hall today. Now, I was hoping to have an enchanted shovel in time, but I don't know if that's gonna happen, because I need to clear out this area and flatten it. I think I might just use my diamond shovel, and if I have to, I've got tons of iron at my disposal for tools. We might as well get started on another project while we're working on enchanting. It's all about the multitasking. So I got to work on flattening out that hill. Oh, do you need some help there? In you go. Sorry, man. Had to do it. Jeremy, look at the sunrise. Day 52, and you guessed it. I'm still working away on flattening out this terrain. But the good news is I found some coal, and I'm almost done. Oh my, this is a huge vein of coal. Good for me though, because I could really use it. All right, it took some time, but this area has been sufficiently terraformed. Let's just go into free cam really quickly so we can see what it looks like. And yeah, I think that is looking so much better. Oh, drama going on the other side of the island. There's a feud. Uh-oh. Ah! Oh no, I made a mistake. Uh-oh. No, I need these levels. I need these levels. I'm going to the iron golem. Please, save me. Ah! You took him out, buddy. Thank you. You know what? I'm repairing you, buddy, because you literally saved my life. All right, so we got all of that terraforming out of the way. Now, back to focusing on the enchanting area. Let's gather up a little bit more leather, and we'll harvest a little bit more of this sugarcane. So with these materials combined, that gives us 7 more bookshelves. So we have 13 in total. How many do we need again? I can never remember. I mean, with this many, I feel like we should at least make the enchanting table, you know? Let's at least get that out of the way. So let's pop it right here. And we're gonna unfortunately be covering up this beautiful floor pattern, but that is a-okay because we need enchantments. All right, let's see what level that brings me to. 26. Hey, that's actually not bad. I am very tempted to just enchant something now, especially because I saw Unbreaking on that axe, but we have the 30 levels and I think I just gotta hold off. If we gather up just a little bit more leather and sugarcane, we'll be good to go. I think patience is the right choice in this situation. It is day 53 and is today the day. Do we get our enchanting setup? Oh. Jeremy, so contemplative. What's he doing over there? What little thoughts you got going on in your head, huh? All right, let's harvest a little bit more of this sugarcane. I also have some in here, perfect. See, this is why we need to organize our storage. It is just too much chaos right now, and I can't even see what I have. So with all of this combined, that brings us to another 14 books, and that gives us another 4 bookshelves. Is that enough? I'm terrible at math. Let's see. 30! We did it! Okay, amazing. We can finally enchant things to max level, which means I need to find that lapis that I grabbed right here. And all my tools are looking pretty sad and tired, so I'm wondering if I just grab a couple of these diamonds and maybe treat myself to a new pickaxe. Alrighty, let's see what we get. Unbreaking and efficiency. Hey, that's not bad at all. if I'm patient with just a couple more levels, we could do another max 30 level enchantment. And I'm thinking we do that for the axe because we've been chopping a lot of wood. So I think with that done, we can continue working on our storage room, which means I'm gonna have to chop down some trees today because we're definitely in the need for some materials to get this thing built. So I spent the afternoon at the tree farm gathering up spruce. Alright, I think that's more than enough to get started on our storage room. I just need like a couple more levels. Maybe if I feed these cows, I can get to level 30 and then we can enchant our axe. Level 30 acquired. You know what? This diamond axe has been through quite a bit. It's getting pretty old and dusty. I think I'm gonna make a new one as well. All right, let's see what we get. Unbreaking inefficiency. That's honestly all I could ever ask for with an axe, so that's perfect. With all of that done, I started gathering up the materials I would need for building, and then I went to bed. And that brings us into day 54. Jeremy is still looking off into the ocean, and I'm ready to build my storage house. So with all of my building materials collected and ready to go, I began building out the structure. I think this side of the island could do with a little bit of height, so I think I'm gonna make this storage room 2 floors. Now I don't think I'll actually utilize all the space for storage because it would simply be too much. So maybe we could use the second floor for something else. Day 55 came around and I continued working on the storage house while Jeremy was still contemplating life. Alright, so I got the bottom floor all finished and part of the top floor. Now I just need to figure out what I'm gonna fill these walls in with. I'm kind of leaning more towards oak, especially because oak has a little bit more of an industrial feel to it rather than the birch. Now the question is, do I have enough oak for these walls? Oh yeah, I think we should be set with this. So to keep in theme with everything, I'm gonna go with the stacked oak planks with some polished oak planks in between. Now before I do that, I can already tell that this is gonna be a pretty big roof, which means I'm gonna need bricks, a lot of them. And I still haven't set up my mason. I'm wondering if I should grab one of these villagers to get that started. How many are left in here? Uh-oh, there's only 3 of you, huh? Well, I'm gonna grab you, and I think I'm gonna bring you over to the mining outpost. There we go. What are you, a fisherman? Why? No, did you attach to these barrels? No, stop it. No barrels for you. None. Oh no, maybe he attached to this one. Is that it? Yep, there we go. We found the barrel in question. So the one problem with this guy is that he wants emeralds for the bricks, which I don't really have at the moment. So I might have to set up another villager in order to get the emeralds, and then I'll be able to trade with him. But if we're gonna do that, we need more villagers, which means I need to harvest more wheat so I can make some more bread, and then I can get more villagers. Honestly, I'm the type of player that kinda doesn't like trading with villagers. I know once you set everything up, you can easily get mass amounts of the items you're looking for, but I just really don't enjoy the initial setup of it all. It just feels so tedious to me. It's okay, it'll be worth it, I hope. So I spent the rest of the evening making bread for the villagers. All right, these villagers are sleeping, but let's go ahead and toss them some bread. Oh, that woke them up. Honestly, if somebody threw bread at me in the middle of the night, I'd probably wake up and eat it too. Day 56 came around and I started the morning gathering wheat so I can make more bread for the villagers. Good morning, villagers. Anybody fancy some more bread? There you go. All right, I'm hoping that's enough for them. We'll check back in a little bit. In the meantime, I think I'm gonna work on the walls of this storage hall today. We've already got all the materials, so all I have to do is put it up. So I got to work building up the second floor of the storage hall. Walls are all up and I think this is looking perfect. So I think while we're waiting for another villager to start trading for bricks, I can at least get the shape of the roof in place. I think for this build, I'd like to go with a little bit more of a shallow roof. So I'm just gonna use slabs all the way up. Then maybe what I can do in the middle here is break up the roof design with just a little something that goes over the entrance. Yeah, I think that's looking good. So with that all done, let's go check to see if we have any new villagers. Hello? I hear baby villagers. Okay, perfect. So I just dug out a little spot where we can put a Fletcher to trade sticks. We'll figure out a build for them later. Day 57 and I am rethinking my decision on the Fletcher. I think I might go with a farmer instead because I have tons of wheat at my disposal. And I've been utilizing all the wood I've been collecting, so I just don't think it's a smart idea to use it for trades. Once I had all of that set up, I grabbed the baby villager to be our soon-to-be farmer. Now I can't necessarily do something about this roof just yet, but we do have a first floor, which means I can get our storage started. So I got to work building out the storage room. Since this was a safe indoor activity, I decided to work through the night to get as much done as possible. Day 58 came around and I was still working away on the storage. storage. So I've got a pretty decent amount of stuff labeled so far, and I also have this back wall if I need it as well. I think what I need to do for now is just start moving things over so I can kind of see what else I need to organize. This is gonna make life so much easier on this island. Guaranteed. So I spent the entirety of the day organizing all of my chaotic storage. And that brought me into day 59 where I was still busy working away on organizing the storage. There's a lot going on out there. Scary. I had accumulated quite a bit of things over these 50 some odd days, and honestly, I was having a great time reorganizing all of it. Ruth cat! I must tame this cat. For those of you who don't know, I have a cat IRL named Ruth, and she is just the cheekiest little thing in the world. I love her so much. So any calico cat that I find in Minecraft, I name it Ruth. Or one of her nicknames such as Tiny Allen, Little Saucicia, Rat, Runt, Rufus, the list goes on. There she is. She's running into a cave. I don't know why. Yes, we got Ruth! The sweetest little cat alive. Kind of feel like this island is just turning into Crazy Cat Lady Island. And honestly, I'm here for it. So with Ruth by my side, I continued organizing my storage. Day 60, and check this out. All of my storage has been cleaned up, and it's now located in the storage room. All completely organized. Oh, hello? What are you doing in here? Get out of here, man. This is my storage room, and you're bringing in like a little block there. You're probably gonna leave it. I just organized this. What don't you understand? Anyway, just like I said, I have so much more stuff than I realized. I mean, look at all these lanterns, quite a bit of spruce stuff, lots of clay still, so we're pretty good for that. So we're in a really good position now in terms of our storage. Now I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make a little furnace area over here, so we could also smelt stuff on this side of the island. Now, as for the top floor here, I mean, I don't even have a roof yet, but I was thinking about making this into an extra living space, especially because we currently only have one place to sleep on this island right now that's safe. So having something on this side of the island would definitely be helpful. Bro, this guy needs to get out of here. Sorry, dude. Ooh, a grass block, thank you. So with the storage all done, I think today's the day where we sort out our villagers. So I have the mason to trade bricks with. However, I need to get emeralds from another villager in order to be able to get those bricks. And it looks like our farmer's ready to go. And he wants carrots and potatoes. So I don't currently have those planted. However, we can easily do that. And I think a good spot would be around the storage house to help add some more decoration to this side of the island. But before I start anything, I heard another cat. There it is. Honestly, at this point, it is my mission to collect all these cats. Because why not? There we go! We got another one. This is amazing. Would it really be a cozy island without cats? That's what I thought. I have to do it in the name of cozy. Once I had befriended yet another cat, I spent the rest of the day converting the area around the storage house into farmland. 3 carrots and 5 potatoes. Looks like a pretty good start to me. Day 61, and I think it's time we get started on this roof. We may not have a villager set up just yet, but at least I've got some clay burning so I can make some bricks. This should at least help get us started on the roof. Alright, that's gonna be about as much as I can do until I get some more bricks burning. So I've got some more clay burning in the furnaces to finish off the roof, but while I'm waiting for that to burn, I think I'm gonna start drawing a path from our storage house all the way to the front of the island. There we go. We've got a connection now. Perfect. Once I had gotten a few more bricks, I continued working on the roof. And finally, all I have to do is finish it up with a spruce trim on top, and that's pretty much it. And I think that's a job well done. Nighttime fell, but I decided to stay up and work through the night since I could safely work on the interior. Day 62 came around and I was still working away on the interior of the storage room. Basically what I'm going for with this upstairs is a cozy little living space. I want there to be a bed so I can easily sleep at night on this side of the island, and I would like for a little space where I can kick back and relax. Well, I think it's safe to say that this room has been Ruth approved. She is truly living her best life right now. And after working away all day on the upstairs, I finally had a relaxing little living space. Alright, so the interior is pretty much all done. Now let's take a little look around, shall we? So downstairs is, of course, our storage and our little workstations. So we have easy access to all of this stuff on this side of the island. Now if we head on upstairs, this is our cozy living quarters. So I basically divided it up into 3 spaces. In this little room, we've got ourselves a cozy little spot to sit and watch some TV. We've got a deluxe king size. And then finally in here, we've got an extra wardrobe because I've always wanted a walk-in closet. So I'm gonna make one in Minecraft because I don't have one in real life. Dreams really do come true. So with all of this, the interior of our storage room is all complete. And this is gonna make our lives so much easier going forward. So with that all done, I think I'm gonna head to bed. And that comfy sleep brings us into day 63, where we should definitely start things off by farming up some of these crops. There, now we just need to wait for all of this stuff to grow so we can start trading it with the villagers. In the meantime, I think I'm gonna work on decorating the exterior of the storage room. It's looking pretty flat and lacking windows. And that's a problem. We need to make this thing look a little bit nicer. So with a brand new day ahead of us, I got to work on decorating. Let's get a nice little trim in the middle here. We'll get some of these nice trapdoors in for the bottom windows. Toss in an awning for the front door. Oh, and we can't forget these hanging lanterns. These things are awesome. Decorating the exterior was a full day job into the evening, and that brought me into day 64. All I have left to do are some finishing touches, and then we're pretty much done. Now that I'm working on the other side of the island, I think I can finally get some chimneys on this thing. There's lots of fires over there, but there aren't really many over here, so I think we should be good. There we go, all done. Now the final touch I want to put on this storage house is a little storage area on the side. Since of course this holds all of our items, I think it would be cool to add some of that story to the outside of the build. There we go, perfect. So this storage house is all done and I think it is looking great. That means we have another build added to the island, and we can kind of better visualize how we're gonna expand this area. Now, we still have to deal with this iron farm. I'm kind of considering decommissioning the iron farm because, I mean, look at how much iron I already have. We're already over 60 days into this world, and I think we have more than enough. If we get rid of this, that means we'll have an easier time utilizing this space for something else. We can build a proper spot for more of the villagers we're gonna trade with. We could build a spot for all of the cats we have on this island. The options are pretty much endless. But the good news is we can sit and think about this for a while. I think before we move on to any other project, we need to get the rest of this field planted so we can more easily trade with our farmer villager. It is day 65 and I am starving, but I can't eat these carrots. These are for our farmer villager. I cannot be snacking on such a valuable item. Speaking of which, we should probably see if we can trade with this guy. Oh, so now you want wheat, huh? Okay, well, you know what? I'll take it. I'll take it. I've got the potatoes anyway, so that's fine. But at least now we have our trades locked in. I'll probably end up getting a couple more farmer villagers anyway, so it's all good. But we finally got our first trade set up with our villager, which means we can start trading with this guy. All right, let's finally trade for these bricks. Yes, this is awesome. Jeez, it feels good. That trade is gonna make our lives so much easier going forward. So with this trade pretty much sorted and ready to go, all we really need to do is keep trading with the villagers and gathering up all the bricks for our builds. Now that the trade is locked in, I think today's the day where we start beautifying this area a little bit. We've been super busy getting this build done, and now I think we've got to make the space around it look nice as well. So I got to work expanding the farmland all around the storage house. After I'd finished planting all the crops I had, I moved on to building a retaining wall around the farm. This will help frame it up nicely, just like the wheat field by our starter home. Day 66 came around, and I was greeted with a bunch of new neighbors. Oh my, many creepers. Oh no. Ah! Oh my! Okay, it's fine. They're just doing a little bit of light terraforming for me because I was planning on building something here soon. That's all it was. I hired them, I swear. Oh, that was a mess. Well, you know what isn't a mess though? This farmland. Look at that. I mean, minus the fact that I still need to plant all of the potatoes because I actually traded them instead, this is looking really good. I'm super happy with how this turned out. All right, so now that we finished the storage house and some decorations around it, don't look over there, that still needs to be decorated. I kind of think that today's the day that we maybe decommission this iron farm. I would say that we've gotten quite a bit of use out of it and it's just no longer needed. Honestly, I think this area could just be better suited for something else, but that's not to say that we haven't gotten use out of this iron farm. This really helped us out. And I was considering using some of this iron as a trade for emeralds, but honestly, I feel like the trade-off isn't worth it considering this takes up so much valuable space. Plus, we can't forget that we have these villagers in here who would gladly take on jobs. Well, except for that guy right there. But we could use these two as farmers. So maybe what we can do is actually build a house around these guys so I don't have to go through the pain of moving them. Now, if we're gonna be doing another build, that means we gotta do some good old-fashioned resource collection. So with that, I got to work on chopping down some taiga trees for spruce. Day 67, and I think it's time we finally turn this into some sort of villager house. So to make things easy for myself, I think I'm just gonna build around this box. That way the villagers never end up roaming loose, getting hurt, and then I have to go fetch them and it's a whole thing. They'll just be hanging out safe and sound. So I spent most of the day working away on the new build. You know what? I'm at level 30. I think now's the time I treat myself to an enchanted diamond shovel. Let's grab one of our diamonds, make a brand new shovel because the one we have is pretty wrecked. And let's see what we can get for this thing. Uh-oh, do I have enough lapis? Hope so. I don't have any. No! Well, that sure was a failed attempt. I think I'm gonna have to make a trip back into the cave sooner rather than later. For now, I'm just gonna use this trusty old iron shovel. Once I got the build in place around the villagers, I decided to make a smaller one next to it to enclose the space and make it look more like a small village. I'm not sure what exactly this build will be for just yet, but I'm sure we'll find a use for it. Once the structures of each build were in place, I decided to stay up into the evening to get the roof in place. This is such a weird thing to look at. They're just awkwardly staring at me. Day 68, and I'm starting the morning off with some light farming. I kind of realized that I messed up and turned all of my bricks into slabs when I in fact needed stairs. So I think I need to start the day off with a couple of trades. Emeralds, please. Bricks, please. And now I can finish up these builds. There, I have two builds laid out here, and I think that is looking great for this side of the island. I kind of wanted to put them in a little bit of an L shape here just to enclose this space a little bit. That way it'll be easier to decorate with like a little communal spot. Now I feel like this area could benefit from shortening this terrain a little bit more. It's sitting a little too high up next to these houses, and I think bringing it down by a block will help open up this space a bit more. Working on the terrain around the builds pretty much brought me into nighttime. Instead of sleeping, I decided to try my luck in the caves to find some lapis. Found some. Yes. Perfect. I think this should be more than enough for us to enchant. That brought me into day 69, and I think I can finally enchant this shovel. If I can remember where I put it. What'd I do with this thing, huh? Ah, here it is. All right, what are we gonna get for enchanting this? Let's see. Efficiency, unbreaking, and fortune. The efficiency in unbreaking is awesome. The fortune, however, not so great if I'm collecting gravel. But hey, I'll definitely take this as a win because look at how efficient this is. This is gonna make terraforming so much easier. Like literally, this is so fun. I could honestly do this all day. All right, I've had my fun terraforming today. Now I think I need to get to work on decorating these two builds. These spruce supports, honestly, chef's kiss. They are my favorite thing to build with. They're just so versatile. I can use them as actual supports. I can use them as windowsills. They're one of those modded blocks that honestly feel very vanilla to me, which has kind of been the running theme with this island. Oh, it appears that I forgot to finish this wall. Adding decorations to these houses took the entirety of the day. All right, these two builds are pretty much done, and I think they're looking super cute. The area around it, however, not so much. I feel like the best way to fix this up would actually be to just fill it in with dirt like this and then shovel it away. I could dig it out and then do the same thing. It kind of just has the same effect, but I feel like it's easier for me to sweep it all away than dig it out and then replace it. And that brings us into day 70 where I was still chipping away on the terrain. So now all I have to do is wind this path over to this house and connect it over to our main path. And there we go, the area is all fixed up now. Honestly, I'm happy I got rid of the iron farm. It feels like it was the right call. So this house is pretty much accounted for. We have our villagers in here, which I'm gonna have to change out their profession soon. But this house, however, we don't have anything in it just yet. And I'm wondering, should we make this house for our beloved friend Jeremy? Where is Jeremy, by the way? I feel like I haven't seen him in a hot minute. Jeremy? Hello? Ruth? There you are, but where's Jeremy? You haven't seen him either? What is going on here? Jeremy! There you are! Don't you scare me like that. So now that I've located Jeremy, all I have to do is build out a cozy interior for him. So let's change out the flooring. And maybe what we can do is build Jeremy a cat tree. I feel like he'd like that. Then we can get like a little scratching post here. We'll get a nice little cat bed down for Jeremy. And of course, we can't forget our food and water. Building a house for Jeremy brought me into day 71. This is what I'm gonna do. Make you sit down, and then I'm gonna push you in here. See, isn't it so nice? Don't you love it? You've got a cat tree, you've got a bed, you've got food, water. What do you say, Jeremy? Do you like it? You do? Well, in that case, my job is done. I'm so glad we could build a nice house for our pal. So I guess with that all done, I can finally name this house Jeremy's house. All right, enjoy, buddy. Sorry, Ruth, you'll get one soon. So with Jeremy's house all done, I think today I'd like to focus on getting these villagers set up. We don't really need 2 fishermen, so I'm gonna trade these out for composters so they turn into farmers. That way we can more easily trade all the crops we're collecting. So with those farmers set up, let's gather up some of these carrots, and let's at least lock this trade in. I accidentally hit this villager, so he's pretty mad at me. Plus, I don't really have the potatoes we need to trade with him yet, so we'll leave him for now. Speaking of potatoes, let's at least get this farm expanded a little bit more. We're very close to completing all of this, so that's great. Now, we still have a little bit of time left in the day, and I think I would like to start making these paths look a little bit nicer. This path extending all the way to the other side of the island is looking a little bit sad still. So I think it's about time we spruce it up with some coarse dirt, fencing, and leaves. Working on the path pretty much took all day, and that brought me into day 72. The coarse dirt has pretty much all been placed, so now all I have to do is add in some fencing and leaves. There we go. Just adding in some leaves, fencing, and coarse dirt makes all the difference. It just helps add that little bit of life and texture to the in-between things on the base. You know what else would help spruce this up a little more though? Bringing some grass and flowers back in. Things have been looking a little bit flat around here, and this will help bring some texture back. And I think the final thing I'm gonna bring to these paths are street lamps. We've been having some big problems with creepers around this base, and not only do these street posts look super nice, but they'll help light this place up a little bit more. Day 73 came around, and I continued putting up the street posts around the base. There we go, that is looking so much better. Plus our paths are safe from mobs now. Let's take a little free cam look around to see what we've got going on around here. We have made some really good upgrades around this base in the last while. And the best part is, we're not even done yet. So I think for the rest of the day, I'd like to chip away on the farmland and decorations around the base. That way if I harvest these potatoes, I can get some trades, and hopefully that means I can finish planting this field. All right, we have lots of carrots and potatoes. So hopefully our villagers over here want to trade with us, because I could use some emeralds, that's for sure. Hello, I know you're mad at me, but I'm gonna trade with you anyway and lock that in, and I am gonna trade some carrots with you. So that gave us 19 emeralds. And if I grab what I've got over here and bring that over to Mr. Stonemason Man, that gets us 1, we got some levels, and 2, that gets us 40 bricks. That's awesome. I am so happy we set up these trades. We'll just stash these away for now. So I think another thing that I would like to do for the rest of the day is kind of work on this area right here. I noticed these peonies right here, and I feel like this whole area could make a really nice flower field. So I think what I'm gonna do is bone meal a ton of these and just simply plant them around this area. Planting the field pretty much took the rest of the day, and that brought me into day 74. And this looks adorable, but I honestly think it would look better if we put like a little stone retaining wall around it. It'll just help frame things up a little bit more. Or actually, what if we use some of these railings? Because it's a little bit more of a fancy garden. I feel like these could actually work. Let's just get rid of this, and we'll pop these in. And also, there's a nice trick with these. If you put one of these down, they actually connect. Ooh, I feel like this is the vibe. Then maybe along the back wall is where we could get a little bit of a retaining wall. So I spent the day framing up the flower field. And finally, what I think I'm gonna do is line the border of this fencing in with some stone. There we go, and now we have a small little flower garden. This is such a nice pop of color for this area, and I feel like it fills up the space well. I feel like if we add in a couple more gardens like this here and there, it'll add a nice pop of color to the island. I am quite pleased with that. Building up that flower garden brought me into day 75, where I think it's finally time that we move our original farmer villager. Currently, he's been hanging out in this hole, and I think I'd like to give him a proper home. So since we trade wheat with him, I'd ideally like to keep him close to our wheat field. And I think I have the perfect spot for this guy. I feel like a house right here would be perfect. It's a big open patch of land that we still haven't done anything with. So if we build a small house right here, we can then fill the rest in with a wheat field all around it. And I think that would pretty much tie up this end of the island. So with that idea in mind, I got to work on building the structure of the farmer's house. Since this was a smaller structure, I was able to get the build up relatively quickly. So I went with more of like a barn style roof, if that makes sense, just to keep in theme with the farmland area around here. And I think that is looking good. The sun began setting, so I decided to head to bed for the night so mobs didn't spawn. On the morning of day 76, I began working on the roof of the farmer's house. Alright, the shape is pretty much all in place, so now we just gotta decorate this thing. So, of course, let's start off with some support beams on the bottom of the roof. I think I'm gonna hang lanterns for this one. Then I think I'd like to make myself a bunch of different barrels and crates. Gathering up all the decorations pretty much took the rest of the day, so by the time I was finished crafting everything, I was pretty much only able to pop in some windows. Decorating the house took me into day 77. If we're going with farmland, that means we gotta get some storage crates, and we of course need some bales of hay, a couple of leaves, and some finishing touches on the house, and then I think we're good to go. Last but not least, we need a door on this thing. I'm gonna try out this fortified spruce door. Yo, that thing looks sick. I like it. So let's draw a little path to it. And there is our farmer's house. Now, the only problem is, yeah, this thing doesn't look too great on the inside. But there's nothing a couple spruce slabs and a floor can't fix. You know, I feel a little bit bad that this guy has been like living in a hole the entire time. So I think what I'm gonna do is just spruce this place up a little bit, you know? I'll give him a couple of cupboards or something like that. Maybe like a couple lanterns here and there. And you know what? Let's get this guy a chair. This surely makes everything better, right? Oh, before I do anything else, I should probably block this off with a trapdoor. I love how it's an iron trapdoor. That is so ominous. After me being like, I'm gonna make this place so nice for him. Oh, I'm the worst. Day 78, and I think it's finally time to move our farmer into his new home. Hey, buddy. Sorry you've been in here for a long time. I just have kind of forgotten about you, and, yeah. That's okay, though, because I got a new home for you. Come on over and check it out. Look at his little straw hat. And let's get you in here. But before I do anything else, let me get you your favorite little compost bin. We can't forget that. It's your favorite thing. There you go, buddy. So he's chilling, he's loving the new pad, and I think we're pretty much all set to keep trading with this dude. Goodbye, my friend. Sorry again for leaving you in a hole for so long. And just like that, we've got another house on this island. Look at how much this island has changed already. It is wild, and I think it's looking awesome. So now that the villager finally has a proper home, that means I can focus on getting the wheat field put in around the house. Once I make these fields, that side of the island is pretty much gonna be done. And it's a good thing I have all of these wheat seeds. Now all I have to do is start planting. Once I finished planting all the fields, I went down into the caves to gather up materials for the retaining wall. Day 79 came around and I worked away on building the retaining wall around the wheat field. So this field is pretty much all complete. All we have to do now is wait for this thing to grow in and it's good to go. But I think it tied together this area of the island so nicely. So we have made a ton of progress to this side of the base. We've got the wheat field back over there, we have this cute little flower garden, and we've got a crop field by this storage house. Now I feel like the next task on this island would be to fix up the space around the enchanting house. We've got a nice wheat field around it, however it doesn't have a retaining wall yet, and I think it could also use with a pop of color. Maybe some lilacs, pumpkins, just something to make it stand out a little bit more. Plus, we need to start fixing up some of these creeper holes because these are just kind of sad. And I think this area could probably do with another build or two. Now, we've got our house for Jeremy. However, poor Ruth doesn't have a house yet. So I feel like the next task on this list is to fix up this area and build a nice house for Ruth. Guess we'll start things off by fixing up these creeper holes. Day 80 came around and I continued with terraforming. I can't believe we're already on to day 80. simply because it feels like this has gone by incredibly quickly. But I'm also so happy with all of the progress we've made. This island has shaped up to look really cool. Alrighty, so the final part of the island has all been flattened and terraformed. And this is a pretty big amount of space to work with, so we should be good. Let's take a little look-see on FreeCam. So I feel like realistically, I could just build the house wherever I want. And then afterwards, I'd probably like to fill it in with like flower fields, crops, just things to frame up this part nicely. We have a bunch of fields done on this end and it ended up looking really nice. So I think if we do the same for this area, we should be good to go. Kind of thinking about putting the build right around here. So I wanted to get started on the build, but the one problem is I am running out of materials. So I think it's time for us to make one more trip into the caves and to the tree farm so we can get everything we need to build Ruthie's house. As always, let's start with our tree farm. I love a good old resource collection day. I always find it so relaxing. So we've got more than enough spruce. Now let's head into the caves and gather up the remaining blocks that we need. Collecting cobble and andesite from the caves brought me into day 81. So I think I'm gonna start off this morning with gathering up a little bit of wheat. I need to feed the cows because I need to restock my food, and I figured we could trade with our villager. Sorry, I need food. And finally, let's pay a visit to our villager in his fancy schmancy new home. Then we'll bring our emeralds over to our good friend, Mr. Mason, and gather up a couple more bricks. Thank you. So with all of those farming chores done for the day, I think we can focus on our build. I think it's about time we get Ruth's house figured out. So I got to work on building up a house on the hill for Ruth. I don't really have much of a concrete plan for this build, if I'm honest. We've been keeping with the same palette for each build, so really all I'm focusing on is figuring out a different shape. I know I want it to be 2 floors so it rests a bit higher on the hilltop, but that's about it. So the shape's all done, and all I really need to do now is fill in the walls with oak. However, I realized I don't really have much left. So I think I'm gonna have to replant a few of these saplings and farm some. You know what else would help me out a ton? A bone meal machine. I should have made one of these a long time ago. We have so many seeds at our disposal and we might as well use them for bone meal. Oh, it's getting dark, so I think that is my cue to go to bed. Day 82 came around and I spent the morning gathering up some more oak. I hate to do it, but I feel like these trees have to come down. I'll probably replant something smaller in their place, but when you look at the island this way, they're kind of blocking the view of this area. And I think I'd like to be able to see these builds a bit more. Plus, at least I'll get a little bit more oak out of it. So I got to work tearing down the big old knotted trees. Okay, that actually does look better because at least we can see the enchanting tower more. I think I might be able to get away with leaving that tree though. It doesn't seem to be obstructing too much. So with all of this oak collected, we can now get the second floor walls up. Perfect, that's looking good so far. Next up, we can work on our roof. How's it looking, Ruth? What do you think? You like it? Yay! I cannot stress enough how happy I am that I got that mason on this island. It has made getting bricks so much easier. So I spent the rest of the day filling in the roof with bricks and granite. Day 83 and the progress on this build is looking good. So the shape's all in and all we really need to do now is start adding some windows and decorations. What kind of door screams Ruth? You know, that's what I'm looking for here. I feel like Ruth would appreciate like a classic style door. You know, not too fancy. She's a simple gal. You know what? I think it's the pressed spruce door. Oh yeah, that's so Ruth. That is the most Ruth thing I've ever seen. She's gonna love it. Same with these fancy windows. I know for a fact Ruth loves a good decorated window. That's for sure. Iron barred windows on the bottom though. For safety, of course. What can she say? She's just a little scaredy cat. With the essentials all in place, I continued puttering away on the decorations for the rest of the day. Decorating the outside of Ruth's house brought me into day 84. Just need to add a couple of items in this lean-to that I made, and I think this is pretty much done. Look at how cute that turned out. I love it. I'm honestly really happy that I leaned more on the side of vanilla for building. I think the modded blocks add a really nice touch and a little bit of extra detail, especially when you go primarily with vanilla blocks. I find that it just enhances it a little bit more. All right, so with this all done, we need to draw a path, and I guess we'll connect it over to the enchanting area. However, I feel like adding a path down here would look really cool, but I kind of had the idea to make this into a retaining wall with some steps going down over to this path. Now, that is only if I have enough time for that, which I think I will. We've made some really good progress on this base, and pretty much all I have left to do is fix up some of the fields, add in more flowers, and just do general base maintenance. So I'm gonna finish up the interior of Ruthie's house first, and then we'll figure out all that stuff afterwards. All right, so the structure is all filled in and ready to go, so now we just have to decorate it. And I feel like we should ask Ruth what she wants in her house. Ruthie, if you were to have anything in your house, what would you want? A karaoke machine? That's it? You don't even want like a fridge with food, a bed, just one karaoke machine? With one microphone? Not even two? You don't want to sing karaoke with me? Okay. Well, I mean, I guess if that's what she wants. There it is, Ruth's house all decorated, with a karaoke machine and a single microphone. Oh, hello, Ruth. Would you like to see your new home? Come on. Well, buddy, what do you think? Do you like it? You do? You're gonna sing your heart out every single day? That's so nice. Well, that looks like one happy cat to me. I think my job here is done. Day 85, and boy, oh boy, I did not get a good sleep last night because Ruth was singing her heart out all night. You know, at first it was nice because I was like, wow, I made her so happy. And then after a while, I was like, are you gonna stop? Is this just like a forever thing? So with that in mind, I think today's the day that I take a little bit of a vacation away from the island. For the last few final projects around the base, I could honestly do with a little bit more moss. And no, I'm not leaving because I'm sick of Ruth singing. No, that would be so mean. Okay, I'm a little bit sick of it, but you would be too. Listen, I just need to get some fresh air away from this island that also has fresh air. That's all it is. So with that, I set off on one last adventure in search of moss. When I was searching for lava, I came across this dark forest next to that birch forest that had the lava pit. And I'm pretty sure I remember seeing an azalea tree. So that means there should be a lush cave here. Oh, I see moss. Well, I'm glad this all worked out because this one was so much easier to get to than the taiga we've been going to. I wanted to make sure I had a good supply, so I spent all day collecting moss. And that brought me into day 86. Home sweet home. Look at this island. It looks so cool boating up to it. I am very happy with how it's turned out. So now that I have all this moss collected, I think I can finally build the retaining wall that I wanted to make. Well, except for the fact that we're missing a little bit of cobble and andesite. A trip down into our caves should do the trick. So I spent most of the day gathering up the materials I would need to build the retaining wall. All right, I've got a pretty good amount of cobble and andesite, so I think I should be able to start working on this wall. So I put it away for the rest of the day on the wall. It's a beautiful morning on day 87, and what better way to spend it than to build out this retaining wall. For real though, I'm actually kind of having the time of my life doing this. I don't know why, but it's just really relaxing. You know what? That's looking really good. Exactly how I hoped it would turn out. I made sure to kind of blend it into the sides of the mountain so it had like a proper ending point, and I think that really worked out. I do need to fix up all these path blocks though, because those aren't looking too pretty. There we go, that's looking much better. So the only thing left to do is to extend the wall up a little bit more. I think so this has a little bit of a nicer design on top. I'm gonna alternate between full blocks and then slabs in between. Yeah, I think that's looking perfect. The only other thing I'm gonna add are some leaves just for some texture and shape. Plus this will help make the wall look a little bit older and overgrown. Yeah, that's the vibe. Working away on that brought me into day 88. And I think this retaining wall is looking really good. So I extended the leaves all the way around, including behind the wall as well. And I think that just helps make it look a little bit more overgrown. And yeah, I think that's the perfect pop of texture on that side of the island. So I think today I'd like to figure out what to do with the space in front of and around Ruth's house. I feel like this area would lend itself really well to a flower garden of some sorts. We already have the retaining wall here, and then we could do a similar garden wall around the edges. Now the question is, what flower am I going to choose? We've got lilacs, roses, and sunflowers. I feel like roses could look really cute, or hear me out, something a little different. A pumpkin patch. What if we did roses around Ruth's house, but then a pumpkin patch in front. I feel like that could look really cool. Okay, so with that idea in mind, I think I'm just gonna extend the wall all the way around instead of using those garden fences. That'll keep it in theme with how we're making our crop fields, and then for the roses around Ruth's house, we can use the garden gate. All right, we've got ourselves a big open space for a pumpkin patch. So I think for this patch, I'd like to use coarse dirt. I'm hoping that using this instead of having grass blocks will provide a nice little bit of contrast with the color of the pumpkins. Yeah, I think that looks good. So the one and only problem I have with this whole pumpkin patch situation is, well, I only have like 6 pumpkins. So I think sadly what I'm gonna have to do is at least break one of these pumpkins. And I think I'm gonna sneakily grow some off to the side where the sugarcane farm was. Actually, you know what? Maybe we could do patches of tilled soil in this area. It might not necessarily look too bad amongst all this coarse dirt. I might have changed my mind about this. Day 89 and I was still working away on the pumpkin patch. Guess we'll just get a little bit of water for this. Wait, how is there a cat down here? Hey! I was honestly wondering where you went. You can hang out by Jeremy's house. So I spent the morning adding some tilled land to the pumpkin patch. I think having a couple planted here and there throughout the patch will just make it easier in the long run. All right, I've got a couple more fields in place, so let's plant a few more of these seeds. And hopefully these will grow okay, and any of the remaining ones I can just stick around the coarse dirt. And just so we don't have water holes everywhere, I'm just gonna waterlog them with leaves. There we go. I think the leaves are a nice decorative touch too. So while we're waiting for all those pumpkins to grow, I think I can get started on this flower field. Now I don't think I'm gonna till the land or turn any of it into coarse dirt. I think I'll probably just keep the flowers on regular grass for this one. I am, however, gonna make more of these garden walls because they look really nice. So with the idea of the flower garden in mind, I got to work on building it up. Okay, I think this fencing looks pretty good for this side of the island. So basically what I want to do is just fill all of this in with flowers. And I think on the other end, I'll probably have to put some sort of retaining wall in as well. And if I want more roses, that means I've got to bone meal a bunch. So I spent the rest of the day planting the rose garden. And just like that, we are on to day 90. How has the time gone by this quickly? It feels like just yesterday we were only building our starter house and mining outpost. And now we have an entire island full of builds. It's wild. For the morning, I continued adding coarse dirt to the path edges. I just realized that I was also intending to build a little pathway going down this way, which I never really ended up doing. I keep running up this hill, so it would actually be useful, but I want to get some of these projects done before we start on something like that. Also, hi iron golems. Kind of feel bad you're hanging out there. I'm sorry. First things first, let's bone meal some of these roses so we can continue planting the garden. Yeah, that's looking really cute. Let's go into free cam to take a look, and I really like how that filled out this space. The only thing I might want to add to this actually is a little bit of a retaining wall on the back right here. That'll just help close it all off and make it feel like its own space. So I spent the rest of the day building out a wall behind the flower bed and then placing more pumpkins in the pumpkin patch. And here we are on day 91. So aside from filling in the pumpkin patch a little bit more and adding the wall to the back of the field, I would say this area is pretty much complete. I think today I'd like to focus on adding some more flower fields around this base. And there's one spot on the island in particular that could really do with some. So we have all of this space left by our starter house. And I think some sunflowers surrounding the house could look really nice, especially if they face the right way. Oh, perfect, we're golden. All right, let's start getting these planted. We're gonna need a whole lot more to fill in this area, but I think that is the perfect flower for that section. Now, I also brought the lilacs over because I thought these might look really good in the field by our enchanting tower. I feel like this field is just very big and very open, so bringing in these lilacs will add a little bit of height and a pop of color. Just like the sunflowers, we're probably gonna need a couple more here and there, but I think that looks so much better already. If I want more of these flowers, I'm gonna need some more bone meal, which means I'm gonna need some more seeds. So I dropped off some seeds for the bone meal machine, and then I grabbed some more pumpkins for the patch. I'm wondering if this sunflower field, I should just till the land, or maybe do coarse dirt, either or. I feel like this area just needs a little bit more contrast around the build, so the sunflowers will stand out more. So with that idea in mind, I got to work on farming the land around the house for the rest of the day. And even after just placing 2 sunflowers, I could tell that the right choice had been made. Day 92 came around and I was still working away on the sunflower field. That's already looking so much better just because there's more contrast between the stem of the sunflower and the ground. I think that made such a big difference. But I think in seeing that on free cam, you all probably know what I'm gonna do next. That's right. Good old wall around the flowers. Why would I stop when it simply just looks so good? Pretty much most of the day was used making this wall. As much as I love doing this stuff, it feels kind of weird knowing that we're getting down to the final details around this base. I keep thinking, should I be starting a new build? Not when there's less than 10 days left. And just like that, we've got another beautiful flower field set up. Another job well done. Now, another thing that I had in mind for today was to keep adding coarse dirt around the paths. However, I'm running pretty low on coarse dirt, so I think I might have to make a quick trip into the caves to collect some gravel. Day 93 and I've got quite a bit of gravel from the caves, so let's turn all of this into some coarse dirt. That's a pretty healthy amount and I think this should get us through quite a bit of pathing. So I spent the morning fixing up some more paths around the base. There we go. Added just a little bit more to these paths, and I think that made all of the difference. Now, speaking of paths, the ones around this side of the island are pretty much done and good to go. This path winding over towards the back, however, needs a little bit of work. I think I'd finally like to make that extra path I was talking about earlier, the one that winds all the way down the retaining wall. Not only would it be a useful connection, but I think it would look really nice as well. What do I do with these guys? They're kind of just like hanging out. Do I just cover this with dirt? Like, I don't know. I feel like they're kind of vibing though. Maybe I'll just like, you know, transform this into the hill and just let them hang out there. That's fine. You saw nothing. All right, so if I'm gonna have steps going up like this, guess I should have a connecting path going from here. So with the path all roughed out, I got to work on building up the staircase. Is that another Ruth? It totally is. We must tame this Ruth. And that would mean Ruth would no longer have to sing karaoke alone. We simply have no choice but to do this. Hello, other Ruth? Come on. Yes! We got other Ruth. Also known as Tiny Alan. Ruth, I'd like you to meet Tiny Alan. All right, you two have fun singing karaoke together. And boy, oh boy, I am so glad that Ruth finally has somebody else to sing with, because frankly, that was just a little bit sad. I'm not gonna lie. Well, I think that's enough excitement for the day, so I'm gonna head to bed. Day 94 came around and I continued working on the path for the retaining wall. So the stairs are in place, and now all I really need to do is kind of fix up the wall around here and build up a wall to close this off. Easy peasy. So I spent the morning working away on the finishing touches of the wall. Okay, I am so happy that I ended up making this staircase because this looks so cool. I'm gonna walk up the stairs, and just like that, I'm winding through a small path, which I love. I don't know why, but I love just like small little pathways that just kind of like snake around everywhere. It is so satisfying. Yes, I think this is perfect. Well, that's all done and sorted, and I think this is the perfect addition to this side of the island. You know, we gotta do a little free cam. Ooh, yeah, this is coming along nicely. Look at that. So the next thing I want to do is fill in some empty patches around the island. Earlier I said I was going to fill this spot with saplings, and I think I'd like to keep with that idea. I always think it's important to make sure you have trees around your base. Now, another thing that I need to do that I surprisingly haven't done yet is add some steps around places like these. Because right now this is not up to code, and we simply can't have that. There we go, that is much better. Now I can easily walk around this base without tripping and falling. Plus, it looks nicer. With pretty much most of the day spent, I decided to spend the rest of the evening crafting up some street lamps and fences for the remainder of our paths. Day 95 came around and I got straight to work on adding details to the paths. Okay, I think all of the pathing is pretty much complete. We've got street lamps and fencing running all through the island now. And boy, what a difference this has made. It almost looks like a little village, but in reality, it's just me and a bunch of cats. Actually, wait, no, there are villagers. Let's take a little free cam, shall we? Yeah, this is looking fantastic. Oh, and the trees in this patch have also grown in. I think that looks great. So with a little bit of time left in the day, I think I'm gonna get to work on adding some more lilacs to this wheat field. I think we finally have enough lilacs in this field, and this is looking so much better. Just adds a really nice pop of color to the field. After I finished up the field, I only had a little bit of time left in the day. So I found some random storage chests laying around the island and cleared them out. Day 96, and guess what I'm doing today? That's right, I'm making another wall around a crop field. In all seriousness though, we've built one around every single field on this island. So I feel like it would be a shame not to do it for this one too. This field was actually quite big, so it ended up taking quite a bit of time, but it was absolutely worth it. The field no longer looks like it's falling off into the abyss, especially with the ocean behind it. It looks like it's all in place. The only thing I really need to do now is fix up the spot with all of the water holes, and that's pretty much it. But that looks like a job for the morning because the sun is setting. Day 97, and boy oh boy, we are getting close to that 100-day mark. But I think we are cleaning up this island really well. So the first project of the day is adding some storage piles and hay bales to this field to cover up the water holes. There, it's all done, and I think that is looking great. Just adds a little bit more interest to the field while covering up those pesky little spots where the water is. How's this pumpkin patch looking? Honestly, this pumpkin patch turned out great. I don't even think we need to add any more pumpkins to it. I think it's got the perfect amount. I've actually never made a patch like this before, but I think this is something that I'm going to continue making in my other worlds going forward, because it looks really cool. I think that means we can get rid of this little patch though. I don't think we need to grow any more pumpkins and sugarcane. So I think it's finally time to fill this all in. So long, sugarcane farm. Thank you so much for everything. You got me my enchanting table, and I was able to make really nice tools, so I am forever thankful. I honestly didn't really have too much to do by the end of the day, so I organized some of my storage and went to bed. And wow, we are on to day 98. How did we even get here? Time truly flies by when you're having fun. So I think the plan today is to pretty much do the same thing that we were working on before, which is bone mealing patches of grass and just cleaning up some of these areas. What is this even? I don't even remember doing this. What happened here? Whatever it was, it seems like it was like a little bit of a failed attempt. All right, the bone meal's been added, and I completely forgot. I never made a proper path to Mr. Mason Man. Feel like we need to fix up this area a little bit. All right, let's start by filling this in. Now we just have to draw a path over from Mr. Mason Man's house down to our other existing paths. Then we'll just pop in some stairs, add in some coarse dirt, and now we got a nice path going up to Mr. Mason Man, who honestly we're probably never gonna speak to ever again because I don't really need bricks anymore. Anyway, bye, have a nice life. I still had a little bit of time left in the day, so I patched up the hole that the farmer was in, and then I fixed some stray leaves around the trees. Also, there's a block on this tree that an Enderman left a long time ago. I'm like, do I leave it because that's hilarious, or do I just take that down? I think I'm gonna leave it. With all of that done, I went to bed for the night, and that brings us into day 99. Pretty much our last day to finish all of the things that we need to do on this island. I keep saying this, but how did we get here? I don't know. Either way, this place is looking spectacular. And honestly, there's really not that much left to be done. I think the only thing that really stands out to me today is the fact that I still need to tear down this tree farm. At this point, with this entire island pretty much all complete, it's starting to look like a little bit of an eyesore. So sadly, I think it's time for it to come down. See, even the weather's sad about it. Goodbye, Spruce Tree Farm. Thank you for helping me build up this entire island. I will miss you so very much. So with a heavy heart, I got to work on tearing down the tree farm. There she goes. All done. Oh, except for these two guys. Anyway, what else do we have to do? Pretty much all of the tasks to be completed had been wrapped up. So I spent the remainder of the last day fixing up some rough terrain. And here we are on day 100. The rain has cleared up, the sun is shining, and we just built an incredibly cozy cottagecore island. I mean, look at this place. I am so incredibly happy with this island transformation. It really came together. So why don't we take a little walk around? And let's start where it all began, with this little starter house. So, of course, all things begin with a starter house, and this thing suited us really well. I got a lot of use out of this workstation down here, and it really kept me safe through the nights where I decided to work. Then up here we have our cozy little bedroom, got a nice little bed and a fireplace to keep me warm at night. And yeah, this starter house had everything I needed to keep me safe on this island. Next up was this farmland. I think so. It's been so long now. But I'm really happy with how this farmland came together. I think it framed up this area of the island really nicely. And also, I'm really happy I kept a lot of these trees in these fields. These trees brought in some much needed height to this farmland. So then from there, of course, we built our little mining outpost, and I love how this thing turned out. I'm really happy I left the entryway open. Not only does it look neat, but it actually made going into the mines really easy. And then of course up here, we ended up moving our stonemason in, and this dude helped us out so much once we got him. It made gathering bricks so much easier, which is really important considering all of our builds contain brick. So on the farmland, this is a newer addition as well, which is the farmer's house, and weirdly enough, I feel like this is one of my favorite builds. I don't know why. I think it's just like super small, quaint, cute, and it's really got that farm vibe. Like, I feel like it just fits in perfectly with this area. Hi, Mr. Farmer Guy. Hope you're doing well. So that, of course, brings us over to our very first villager house that we built, and this thing helped us out so much. It allowed us to make the iron farm and get other trades on this island. So if we make our way over here, this brings us over to what I call the second expansion on the island. So of course we've got our lovely little flower garden, which I'm really happy I ended up planting these because it just adds such nice pops of color to the base. And behind the storage barn, of course, we've got our wheat and potato field, which helped us out with trading and also looks really nice. Then of course we've got our storage house over here, which honestly saved us so much time. Then of course we've got our cozy little upstairs with our little seating area, our bed, which I used a ton, and my little walk-in closet. Then that brings us over to this little village area, which of course had our farmer villagers that we traded with, and of course Jeremy's house. How could we forget? Then of course if we go on this way towards this nice little path, that brings us over to Ruth's house and the enchanting area, which I really love this part of the island. I'm so happy I went with this little pumpkin field. I'm honestly very obsessed with it, and I'm definitely going to continue making these in future worlds like I said before. It just looks so cute. Then of course we've got some more flower fields surrounding Ruthie's house. As you can see, Ruth and Tiny Alan, they're having the time of their life singing karaoke. They simply won't stop. And then finally, our last build, we have our enchanting house, which honestly helped us out so much. I am very happy I got enchanting set up. I mean, that's another thing. If it wasn't for these tools, I would not have been able to collect resources and build as fast as I did. So then if you take this pathway, it loops back over to our starter house, back to where it all began. And that's pretty much it. We managed to transform this entire island into a cottagecore base over the course of 100 days. I honestly ended up doing way more than I ever could have dreamed of, and I am so happy with how it turned out. So I guess with all of that, day 100 is about to end, so that means this video is gonna end too. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope you all enjoyed this journey and island transformation. So with all of that, I'll see you all in the next one.